Okay, welcome to the Ninja Gaiden 2 DOS tutorial video. You can press escape in this game to skip cutscenes. Some of the cutscenes you can't skip until certain parts of it, but anyway, um, to start the time, normally I start the time when I press escape, so when this menu comes up here. Um, I'm just going to start before we talk about strats by covering some of the basic elements of this game in terms of speed. So first of all, I bound C for jump and X for slash so that they're right next to each other, so it's easy for me to press both of them at the same time. I bound these to arrow keys. My input viewer shows it as WASD, but I'm using arrow keys. This is DOSBox, I think version, let's see, what is the version? 0.74-3. I'm running on 3000 cycles with no frame skip, and I have a version of DOS that allows me to have I have a version of DOS that allows me to have save states. I don't remember exactly where I got it, but I'm sure if you search for DOSBox with save states, you can find it. Yeah. Let me just so one of the cool things you can do in this game is turn off the music. It's a nice feature, which, I mean, normally I just play with the music on when I'm running, but for this thing, it'll be a little bit easier for me if I just turn off the music. Okay, so we got time. Time doesn't matter in this game, really. Same with the NES version. You can run back and forth, so, normal movement stuff. There's a couple things to keep track of with so the main glitch in this game is something I call slash hovering, which is where if you press slash and then you press the opposite direction, you'll kind of rotate around the sword. And you can see that as I do this, I'm getting closer and closer to the right side of the screen. And then when I actually move, the screen scrolling won't fix itself. So one thing to keep in mind is how far the screen is scrolled. If you move back to the left, then it'll move back to the left, and you can get different types of scrolling. But jumping will never allow you, or the game will never allow you to move past the side of the screen that you have. And so in some cases, this means it'll truncate your jump because your jump moves you into the edge of the screen. That'll be relevant later, but it's just a key thing to keep in mind. There's another few things that are really different from the NES version. Once again, if you press into the wall, you'll grab the wall. But if you, unlike in the NES version, if you press a direction, you immediately start facing that direction. So there's no way to do, as far as I know, there's no way to do the kind of normal wall clip setup where you like go into the wall by using your like backwards momentum, and then the game doesn't check for collision in that direction. One of the things that is kind of nice though is that if you want to go up a wall, you can just spam jump. Often it's actually a good idea to spam jump because another thing that's important about movement in this game is that if you press jump in midair, it kills your momentum. So this is both a blessing and a curse. In some ways, you can use it, in some places, you can use it to navigate around obstacles, or you can also use it, like we're going to see later in stage 1, to do some exciting jumps where we press jump like right before we touch the ground, and then we will actually do a jump instead of nothing. But one thing it's key for is that if you're like, normally whenever you're about to grab something, you're like, okay, I need to jump off of this thing, and your instinct is just to like press jump as soon as possible. In a lot of places, if you press jump a frame too early, you'll die. This is a you can see it's pretty clunky. This is a 10 FPS game, and so there's lots of things in this game that are gonna be frame perfect. I guess another thing to start with before we get into what the strats are would be in 60 FPS games, you have this problem where like it's really easy to do things differently on accident. Um, and just by like doing something that feels the same, you might actually be getting something different because you're pressing something on a different frame. Um, this game, I mean, still has that problem a little bit because it depends on like when in the frame you're actually pressing the button, and like there's lots of things that go into that. Um, Basically, in a lot of ways, it feels like there's a certain amount of input lag in this game because, you know, in actuality, when you press a button, that could be happening a tenth of a second later at most, right? Which is a pretty significant amount of time in terms of like the feel of the game. But another thing that goes along with that is that making adjustments in this game is really difficult because often you do something that feels different, but you actually are doing the exact same inputs on the exact same frames because you're pressing the buttons slightly later, but because the inputs are only processed at 10 frames per second, um, you know, you get something a little bit weird. So, or you get something that's functionally the same as what you just did. So just be aware that making adjustments in this game is going to be pretty hard. Like when you do a strat wrong the first time, like figuring out how to do it right is not that easy because, you know, you just need to jump on the next frame. Well, that might actually be there's a really wide range of timing differences that can be because the inputs in this game have to ride the exact same bus that Mario has to ride to get to the next thing. So, um, yeah. Anyway, I guess another key thing to notice about Ryu is in this game there's kind of tiles, right? So if I press right one frame, I'll go to the next tile, and then I'll have two frames, right? I'll have one frame of like walking, and then another frame where I return to my standard position. And then left is the same thing where like if you just tap right and left, you'll just change position, change directions. But then if I go to the left, I go one tile. But this game is not actually tile based. In fact, the game tracks Ryu's position in a pixel perfect manner. So this is kind of something that I don't have the full mysteries of the game available to me. I don't know exactly how it works. But there's plenty of places in the game where your alignment within a tile matters. And as far as I can tell, there's no way for you to actually manipulate that besides dying. Well, that's not true. On certain stages, there's ways to manipulate your subposition. But basically, the reason why this is important is that there's some things in this game that are, I'm calling it subposition dependent. So there's like a couple of jumps in 5.2 that depend on your subposition. Which is basically saying that it's like pixel perfect, or, you know, maybe there's 2 or 3 pixels where something can work, but you can't actually access those pixels because you move a fixed amount. Oops, I died to time. Because you move a fixed amount of distance every frame. Essentially, that means that there's some things that you can go for them and they can work, but it's not worth it because they might like basically there's a couple things in this game where you might have done everything right, but based on this factor that you can't control, which is kind of like your subpixel in the NES version, you get screwed. And yeah, that's too bad. But for the most part, I think your subpixel is kind of fixed if you don't die. I think you stay on the same subpixel for the entire game unless like certain things in 5.2 change it, but I don't know if that carries over to the next level or not. So anyway, I guess another thing in the preamble before I start actually talking about how to play this game would be that, you know, I haven't played this game for that long. I don't think anybody else has really tried to come up with good speed strategies for this game. So a lot of what I'm doing is just based on the NES run or things that I found through practice or whatever. So I'm not promising that any of these strats are optimal, and certainly if you decide to play this game, you should experiment on your own, because there's certainly lots of things that can be found that are faster than what I do. I'm going to be going through and showing just like a series of different things that can all, you know, kind of all work together to form a coherent run. There's a couple other mechanics things before I start talking about the actual gameplay. So another key thing is this like weird state. Well, anyway, yeah. So another key thing that this game has is what I lovingly call Roadrunner time, which is if you press on, it doesn't actually happen on all in all places, and I'm not sure if there's like a characterization for the places where it does happen, but a lot of these ledges, if I press right and jump on the same frame, I'm actually going to fall. So you almost never want to be at the very edge of one of these things because it makes it really difficult to jump. You basically have to intentionally press jump early and then press right. I don't think it happens on any of these ledges, but when we get to stuff later in the run where it does happen, I'll kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about. Anyway, I guess without further, I guess let's actually talk about some basic movement stuff. So, you've got jumping, you've got slashing. In this game, damage boosting is dependent on your direction. So if I'm facing this way, I'll get damage boosted to the left. If I'm facing that way, I'll get damage boosted to the right. Generally, damage boosting is a little bit slower than it is in the NES version. You don't get pushed. You get kind of like, well, you can see what happens. Also, when you damage boost, you change direction automatically, which is an interesting fact that we're going to be using to our advantage in this boss fight. There's a couple other important things to notice about this game. One is that enemies spawn based on your position. So when I enter a specific pixel or tile, I guess I should call it, this bat is going to spawn. And if I stay in that tile, the bat will continue to spawn. So it's just like the NES version, except it's like very particular, right? I guess there may be a couple of tiles where the bat will spawn. Now I'm past it, but if I go back in here, the bat is going to spawn. And then another key thing is that the bat here spawns based on my position. So here I'm 1 pixel too far to the left. If I jump and go here, the bat is going to spawn upwards. So bats and certain other enemies spawn in a position that's dependent on your position when you enter the tile that will spawn them. So that's another key thing to keep in mind. Most enemies don't spawn based on that, but they do spawn based on your position. And so, once again, I mean, this is similar to the NES version where how fast you go through the level determines where enemies are relative to each other. And part of finding a good route for that is kind of taking that factor into play. Most of the orbs in this game are the same as they are in the NES version. There's a couple of differences. In this game, the ninja powers kind of suck. Shuriken, I think, is the best ninja power. There's another kind of like, when you get clones, the clones are often quite useful, but they're not as good as in the NES version because you can't damage a boss multiple times with the clones, with 2 clones ninja power at the same time. So you can't just like spam the bosses to death with upfire because you're only going to be dealing 1 damage per frame, and upfire doesn't actually deal more damage than the sword, and you can't use it as quickly as the sword. So the sword is basically better than upfire. That's not entirely true. Obviously, there's certain places where we may want upfire to accomplish something very particular, but I've tried to make it so that the run doesn't use ninja very much because it doesn't usually save time. And having harder strats that you can always do with the sword makes it so that the run is more consistent. You don't have to reset if you accidentally get the wrong ninja power. Yeah, I think that's most of the stuff I wanted to talk about that's like basic movement related. Yeah, I guess this is another thing where I'm like, if I'm spamming jump, I can get up this thing faster and land. If I just like do measured jumps, I'll actually like go up here or something. Anyway, there's lots of things that we can explain as we go, but those are the basic stuff in the run. So let's let's get started. The load times are kind of variable in this game. I still don't really understand the loading or like whatever. But anyway, yeah, let's get started. So, we're just gonna be running. I mean, basically, this is just like the NAS version, where the fastest strat is to run to the left or run to the right, for most parts. We're gonna deboost through these guys because there's not really a good way of jumping over them, and slashing them is slower. So, I mean, you can slash them. If you jump here, you'll like wind up on this thing. So you don't want to do that. So instead, we're just going to, deboost off of this guy. You turn around right before you would hit him. You jump right there to get over that guy, and then you jump right there to get over that guy, and then you go up here. So like, this is kind of a challenging strat because most of these jumps are frame perfect. Jump right there, jump right there. You can wind up on this thing sometimes if you jump early. Or I guess that would be late. And just press down to get off of it. But yeah, this is kind of the opener that I found that's good. Oops. Jumping there also spawns the bat. Okay, we're going to jump over those guys. You can see that there's like a little bit of delay when you jump. So, yeah, that's a thing. We're just going to jump over that guy. Clearing these guys is really challenging, actually. Their hitbox is enormous, and as they move, it changes. Okay, we're going to jump right on this thing. And then this game has something where your sword has a gigantic lingering hitbox. So, like, when I slash, the sword's hitbox is out for way longer than when I actually am slashing for. Oops, sorry. So I use the little crack in the ground as a visual cue for the first jump. I use this wall as a visual cue for the second jump, and then the second crack as a visual cue for that third jump. And that's how I do it. This crack is a visual cue for this jump, and then you want to slash early so that you're not delayed on the ground by your slash. There's a clone right there, but we're not going to grab it because we don't need clones for this level. Here you can just run underneath everything and don't care. And then use this crack as a visual cue for those jumps. Those jumps are quite hard, and I would not blame you for doing something slightly different. Okay, here we're going to jump up here, jump over this guy, and then deboost off that guy. Once again, you're just like turning around. Okay, I guess this is a good time to note a very important game mechanic here, which is yeah, if you are on a screen, if you're like at the very top of a screen transition, so like here, you can press, so like normal button presses on the wall are normal, but if you press upright on a wall like that, you will die. The game kills you if that happens. If you're going down, you can't die as far as I know. But going upwards on a wall, you have to be very careful not to press any directional buttons. I guess you can press away from the wall. That's also fine. But if you press towards the wall and you're at the very top of the screen, I assume that the game like wraps you around to the bottom or something. Anyway, I guess it's not happening right now, but yeah, it happened there. You will die. So just be very careful. Similarly here, this screen is not very exciting. You know, the way that we came in, we're just gonna like go down, jump here. You can try falling further, but falling is not really that much slower than climbing down the wall. You can see it's like a little bit slower, but it's not that much slower. So it's just like way safer to take a safer line here. Okay, here we want to jump. I slash that guy, jump over that guy, and slash that guy, and then try to jump over this guy. But as you can see, jumping over that third guy is pretty hard. Jumping is slightly faster there. But yeah, jump over that guy, and then we're in the boss fight. This boss fight is very simple. And we're going to use the fact that getting deboosted turns you around. So we're going to slash him a bunch. All right. So there's one input in the boss fight besides slashing once you start slashing him. It's really that simple. Oops. You can get caught there if you press right too early. You want to jump like right after the little balcony barricade on the background changes. There's like 2 balcony barricades anyways. Um, so we slash him. Once we get deboosted, we press the other direction to turn around, and then he hits us again, we automatically turn around, and then you just spam slash. And that's why we don't pick up a clone, because there's really no reason to do it. Okay, we skip that cutscene. We're going to need clones for the 2-2 boss fight, but that's the earliest that we actually need the clones for. Okay, we're going to jump over this guy. We're going to jump over that guy. Jumping over these guys is really hard. Ugh. This strat for this stage is really challenging, so I'm going to show you kind of like 2 different ideas for how to do this beginning part of the stage. So one of them is you can kill that bat and then go underneath him and then keep going. It's a little bit slower than the optimal, but it's not really that much slower, and it just the other is this. This is a really complicated strategy because it involves changing the bat spawn position by going into the square at a different Y position. So effectively, here's what I'm doing. I want to jump right before this orb, and that will manipulate the bat to be in a different location because we're going into the place where it spawns at a different position. And then we can just use the lingering hitbox on the sword to get both the bat and the guy. If you don't get the bat, it's not the end of the world, because once the bat goes off screen, it'll despawn. It's really easy to get a bat. But yeah, your lingering hitbox lasts forever. The rest of the stage here, we're gonna just jump over that guy. The rest of the stage is really not that exciting. We can slash that guy. We're gonna go under this shrieking guy, jump over that guy, jump slash the bat. Oops. Yeah, I guess I will go back there and show you what's supposed to be done. Getting over these guys is sometimes a giant nightmare. And see, there I jumped a little bit late. It was fine. It wound up being okay, but it's not the end of the world if you take some damage in this stage. I hate that. If you get hit by a guy on the front, you should just slash him, because you're gonna get hit on the way on the back end too. Right, slash that guy. We can just go under this guy without slashing him. That was an early jump. Jump slash the bat. Okay. Here you want to just walk and standing slash those guys. Walk under the bat. Falling slash that guy. If you go to the very end and jump, you'll clear the 2 crawly guys, and then we're just jumping over these guys. You want to low profile the bat by walking under him. Jump over that guy, hopefully. I'm going to standing slash that guy. There's different ways to deal with that guy. Falling slash that guy, jump slash that guy. I mean, this is a fairly straightforward stage. It's just like doing all kinds of normal things. All right, this stage sucks. So on this stage, you can get an early win cycle, but it's convoluted. It's very hard to get an early win cycle on this stage. And it's kind of... it's just tricky. You can kind of pay attention to what Rue's foot looks like to know when you're supposed to jump. But that's really all I have. We're going to get this clone and then slash that guy. If you jump at the end, you'll wind up over there. Yeah, and then you just jump through this stage. I don't know if there's a lot to explain on this screen. You just like trying to get the early cycle by looking at Ryu's foot. There's like this particular thing, and it's kind of dependent on your sub position as far as I know, so it's horrible. This screen's timing is not really that tight. For that part where I get the full ninpo, you don't need the full ninpo, but I tend to release the button that I'm holding towards, like, to slash the slime consistently, the way to do that is to release right as soon as you fall off of this thing. So, like, if I'm up here, I guess I have to wait for the wind cycle to show you what I mean, but I'm just going to release right and then slash, and you should wind up in the right spot. So one more time. You want to hold right and like this is one place where it's really easy to die by pressing jump too early. So you want to hold right until you're absolutely sure that you're on the wall, because otherwise you'll die. If you accidentally don't get it there, you won't really be able to get this cycle. Oh, you can. Okay. Yeah. So just don't, I mean, that obviously loses a little bit of time, but don't worry too much. And don't jumping early there is just like, it's something you can do if you get insanely skilled at this game, but all right, so see how I released right and then everything worked out? Killing that slime is important because otherwise he'll shoot a projectile at you, and that's obviously not a good thing. Okay, on this screen, you have a huge luxury, which is that you have like basically time to spare. So this is normally how I handle the beginning of the screen. I just slash this guy and then let go of all the buttons, get this thing, and then jump up and get both the Ninpo scroll and the full Ninpo. All right, now we're gonna go down here, get the second clone. Again, you can use the lingering hitbox to get the second clone. We're gonna just standing slash all these guys, because see how the wind has pushed us to the far right of the screen? If we try to make this jump now, we're not going to be able to do it, even if we have the benefit of the wind. Basically, here, I'm going to show you what happens. So we have the wind, let's go. I guess we don't have the wind anyways. But essentially, even if you have the wind with you, like it's possible to get here with the blowing wind. And you can't make this jump because the screen just like completely ruins your jump. So you have to wait a cycle. As far as I know, I've never been able to do this without waiting a cycle. So you can go over here, spawn another night guy. Oops, I didn't get the clone. I actually want to have this extra clone. Basically, the point of this screen is because you have to wait a cycle, don't go too fast. Okay, and then I go over here to the left. As you travel to the left, the screen scrolls. Oops. Normally I use these two seams in the ground to kind of like judge my position, and then I'm going to grab this wall. This wall is very important. From this wall, I'm just going to hold right. You can just hold it while you're on the wall. That doesn't do anything bad. Okay, so I'm just going to hold right, and then as soon as the wind starts blowing, I can jump. I can make the jump. If you jump without the wind, you'll just die. So, you have to wait for the wind. And then right here, I'm actually not holding right at all because I want to get... this is a safety strat, actually. You don't need to do this, but I want to get this health pickup and then kill other night guy. Okay, and then I guess the last part of this strat is kind of neat. Oops. So that's what happens if you start holding right, is you get flummoxed and die. If you jump to the wall that early, you'll get hit by the bird. And in this game, when you get hit by anything, you'll fall off the wall. And you actually won't be able to grab anything during the deboost. So instead, what we do is this. We jump here, get the thing, slash the guy. It doesn't matter if you get hit a little bit. And then you'll get a shorter jump if you're up against the wall when you do the jump. So you'll grab the wall earlier, you'll be lower down, and you won't get hit by the bat. So we're going to go here, we're going to jump up, and then we won't get hit by the bat, and then we're going to go into the screen. Being careful not to accidentally die to the screen thing. This screen is fairly simple. We're just going to... okay, so I guess the key thing here is how to scale this wall while the wind is blowing. You just want to jump, and then like you could spam jump, but the way I do it is just to be a little bit more careful. All right, here's the 2-2 boss kill, hopefully. This boss kill is very interesting. Okay, so we're going to do 5 up Bs, and then jump to the wall, and then climb up here. Oh, God. Okay, you got there. Oh, shoot. Okay, so one thing you want to be absolutely careful about in this boss is this side of the screen is extremely bad. Do not go to this side of the screen. If you get hit by anything while you're on this side of the screen, you'll likely die. I guess I don't have a demonstration yet because I need this guy to come down, but if he throws spiders at me and I'm like here, well, I guess I was facing the right way. There's a couple of boss fights that have this property where like the right side of the screen is just like incredibly dangerous for some reason. Let's see if he'll oblige us by throwing spiders at us when we're over here. If I'm holding into this thing, well, I guess it didn't kill me. Anyway, you can just like accidentally jump to your death on the right side of the screen like I did there. So just be aware of that. So I throw 5, and then I jump to the wall, and then I climb up here. Yeah, and then I get on the wall because if you're clinging to the wall, you're completely safe. Let's do that again. So you go into the fight, you wait for the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it doesn't really matter where your clones are for that part because all right, and you want to get on the wall immediately because otherwise the wind will blow you to your death. Okay, so that's you know, stage 2-2. That's the 2-2 boss. You should wind up with some extra ninpo, and then if you need to, you can finish him off with that. I don't know why I got hit by that guy. This stage is a really annoying stage. I hate it. We're gonna slash that because even though I already have the fire wheel, I got it at the, you know, we got it on 2-2 at the beginning of the third screen of 2-2. But if you die in the stage, you just want to remember to get the fire wheel. In this case, this is one of those things where it depends on how risky you want to be. There is a frame perfect jump that you can do that I think might be sub-position dependent. I don't actually know because I don't go for it, where you can actually jump from this this platform here to the next platform without having to cling to the wall. But because you can't see what you're doing, it's just incredibly dangerous and there's no reason to go for it. So like it doesn't really save that much time to have to cling to the wall like that. So just I tend to play it safe because playing it safe is just a good idea. You don't want to jump too early. So that's what I did there, is jump too early. You have to like get the orb. I say don't jump too early and then I jump, and then normally that saves me. You want to jump here. This is a little bit of an inconsistent timing window to hit this jump. Basically, we're gonna like don't jump too early and then jump and then wind up on the wall. And then from here, we're gonna jump, hit both of those guys, and then you can actually do a rising slash here if you do it earlier. That will grab both. So like if you have 2 clones here, you can just ignore this part because it doesn't matter. But if you don't actually have 2 clones, oops, I jumped too early. I guess that worked. If you don't actually have 2 clones, then you have to do this jump. Oops, that didn't work. I don't know why that didn't work. Yeah, there. A lot of the jumps in this game are really weird, but I'm not getting it now. That jump, where you get that. Okay, so now the question is, how are we going to deal with these stupid bats? Well, I normally just use a fire wheel, or upfire on them. I just picked up full ninpo, so I should have full ninpo. You can think of something whereby you spawn them high and then jump under them or something like that, but there's 2 bats and they spawn on different X positions, so it's really hard to spawn them high because like if I do that, if I jump up here, the first bat will spawn high, the second bat will spawn low, and I can't get through the gap between them. At least I don't think you can get through the gap between them. I guess I could experiment with that a little bit. But anyway, I think it's just much easier and not that much slower just to input them. All right, here's actually our first exciting instance of Coyote time, or Roadrunner time in this game, which is here. So here, if I... Oh, yeah. Anyway, just be careful on this edge because you can easily die by accidentally. Essentially, the strat that I use is just press the jump button a fraction of a second before you press the run button. And then again, like, you can take this jump a little bit more. Okay, yeah. So another thing that I never explained, which is really important, is the notion of P-speed. This game actually has P-speed. In a kind of very limited format. I think there's 3 speeds. You can be standing still. You can have 1 frame of run speed, or you can have 2 frames of run speed. And they result in different jumps, and we'll see more on 4.1 how that works, but just be aware that jumping with a little bit of velocity is a higher jump. All right, we're gonna get this invincible fire here. Oh yeah, so like, unlike in the NES version of this game, you can jump from the middle of that platform here that I'm standing on. And again, it's not really a good idea to go to the edge because it might save a little bit of time, but it's just not worth it. Once again, you have to press jump. It's so hard. It's so easy to accidentally fall off that platform at the edge. And I mean, the solution is to do the upfire from this subframe or subpixel and then do 2 jumps there. But yeah, or you can do it like, basically it's just safer to do it from here. All right, jump on that tree. You should linger and hitbox those guys, and then you can just jump up here in the oh shoot, I used up all my ninpo. I didn't get this full ninpo. Okay. You want to be on at least on one of the 2 edge pixels or edge tiles, because if you're not, then the bat will keep spawning and you'll get hit by the bat and die. Okay, hit the tree, falling slash those guys. Go up here. All right, now this strat is going to be... Okay, my save state doesn't show it off entirely because of this slime is going to be on screen for it. Normally, that slime bullet will kill you. So we have to come up with some way. Maybe there's a way that I can save state with the slime off screen so that it's closer to real life. All right, so you want to jump right when that tree is. And there's 2... It's really hard to see on this stage. But there's 2 pixels you can land on, basically. Left and right. Right now I'm on the left pixel. And if I'm on the left pixel, this is how it goes. Let me see if I can actually get that. If you're on the left pixel, you can just jump immediately. If you're on the right pixel, well, first of all, you can easily get Coyote time or Roadrunner timed if you're on the right pixel. Like that. Second of all, the invincible fire wheel in this game is not fully invincible. I'm trying to get on the right pixel so that I can show you what happens, but the bats are not cooperating. Anyway, if you're on the left pixel, you should be fully safe. If you're on the right pixel, sometimes jumping into those bats will kill you. So that's what happened there. Basically, don't trust the fire wheel to protect you. Just wait for like 1 second for the bats. That's what I recommend. Just wait, because the bats will kill you, and it's really hard to identify exactly which pixel you're on when you're doing this thing. Okay. So because we don't know which pixel we're on, we're pressing jump first. We're jumping, so I guess I'll get a save state where we're in the right thing. Okay, so this is where we are. We jumped to the right. Now we're clinging to this thing. We hold left. Now we're clinging to this thing. Now we jump up and press right once to land on top of this thing. So if you go further, you'll die. And you want to be on this tile because it's safer than being, like right now, this platform also has 2 places I can stand, right? I can stand right here and I can stand right here. So if I hold right while I'm doing the jump, who knows where I'll land? It's safer to press jump and then press right once during the air so that you land on top of this thing. Okay, and then the next part is just kind of like this is just a timing that you learn. You learn when to jump on that platform. Because all the platforms here have 2 pixels that it's fine to jump from, you will be fine if you jump on any of those 2 frames. The first frame is worse. You can see that if I jump on the first frame, I wind up lower down on this thing. It's better to jump on the second frame. But okay, and then, you know, this thing is the same thing where I jump and I press right once to move 1 tile. So let's move on. All right, here I'm just you shouldn't wait for that guy. It's really bad actually to wait for that guy because it's really dangerous, but falling slash that guy, jump slash that guy. Normally I jump over this guy. I'm just gonna do my strat and then explain it. So falling slash that guy, jump slash that guy, jump over this guy. Oh god. This part is really tough to get it right. Damn. Other knife guy from behind is a very annoying character. But falling slash that guy, jump slash that guy. Oh gosh. Yeah. And if you find yourself on the right-hand pixel like I did there, just jump before you press right. Don't try to do them both on the same frame, because it's not going to end well. Alright, so this is what I do here. Once we actually get through this hellscape of a platforming level, I do a deboost over this gap. There's a little gap in the floor, and I have died a lot to this gap because it's a very, just like, you can just fall down it. You don't really know where it is. So just turn in midair, and then you'll be good. Once again, you can see that being able to influence the direction that deboosts take you is a very powerful thing in this game. All right, we're gonna, oh shoot, I need to make a save state that's further along so that I can actually do this. This stage will kill you a lot when you're practicing it, and then eventually it'll become a lot more fine. And if you don't get the first guy, the second guy will get you, so. All right. Here you want to just like walk up right against this wall and then jump slash those guys. That's what I recommend. If you're not up against the wall, you can miss him, so. And then I normally just kill both of those fires. There's probably a better way. Yeah, you want to be right up against the wall. Give him 1 more frame to move. And then again, normally, because I'm afraid of this edge, I stop here and then slash both of them rather than trying to go to the very edge. So that I don't get accidentally roadrunner timed, because if you walk off this edge, you will die. This game kind of has like similar level designs to the NES version, but then you are just, your jump is just like way higher and way less long, which is a really big problem. All right, so let's do that one more time. Oops. You can also deboost off of that guy and then try to like get through the fire that way. I've never been really successful with that, but it seems like it's a strategy that might be able to work at some point. You can't really do the Ninja Gaiden 2 thing of like jump through the fire. You can activate an invincible fire wheel, but it's not actually guaranteed to be invincible. So like I have actually, the first strat that I did for that part was just activate another fire wheel. But it's not really that much faster than what I do now. Oops. When you do the jump here, you want to jump straight up and then slash. Jump straight up, slash twice, and then... Anyway, the invincible fire wheel might be a little bit faster, but it's just less safe. You can die randomly. It's not random. I think it's actually like there's kind of a like consistent way that the invincible fire wheel can fail here, but anyway, your input does not matter here. So if you decide to go with the fire wheel strat, that's certainly acceptable. Okay. Now we're on 3-2. 3-2 is a stage that has some things. I normally use that little shadow there as a visual cue. And then I jump as if I'm going to slash this orb on the way down to slash other knife guy. And then I normally standing slash gun guy. You can jump over gun guy, but it's a 1-frame window, and it's really just not worth it. You don't save hardly any time. So yeah, you have to jump exactly on the end of that window. And it's just kind of like why. All right, you jump up this wall. Oh shoot. Jumping up the wall is like sometimes doesn't go right. See there, it was a... If you notice that you didn't make the frame window, you can change your direction so that the deboost will actually move you downwards. But what's going on with this stage? Getting some weird positioning of these enemies. Anyway, you just want to like spam jump to get up the wall. And then I guess another key thing here is you'll notice that if I don't have speed there, I'm actually going to die. Even if I get the right jump. Oh, you can actually clear those guys with 1 slash. That's probably not very consistent either, but... Oh my god, what is Ryu doing today? It's not cooperating. You can also clear the gun guy bullets with your slash, so normally this is smooth. Anyway, you want to see Ryu's foot kind of come off of the end of the platform. If you don't see his foot, you probably got a bad jump, and you want to recover by just falling down here. That orb down there is a full ninpo, but we don't really care. All right, we're gonna go down here. We turn right to avoid that guy, and then we turn again to do a deboost. This is a frame perfect jump. Yeah. Let me make a save state so that I can do that section a little more thoroughly. Anyway, all right. Deboosting off of these guys probably saves a little bit of time. I don't know how much time it saves, but anyway. I normally just jump over his bullet. You can also, this is not really that useful, but it's another thing to know about, is, oops, that was an early jump. So you want to be aware of this jump because you can die to it. You can slash those bullets out of the air, and any projectile you can actually slash out of the air. Okay. Yeah, you want to be up there when the bat spawns so that, yeah. You can actually clear that gap down there, but it's subposition dependent and just don't. Yeah. Here you want to be careful not to die because you can easily just die. I don't know what causes this glitch to happen, but like sometimes if you're pressing the wrong direction as you're climbing, Or maybe, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there I just died. You know, sometimes you just die. So you want to be at the top and the bottom of the ladder. You want to be very careful, and then you just spam jump. Okay, we're gonna go down here, slash the thing. If you have three clones, the third clone will take care of other knife guy from behind. If you don't, other knife guy is gonna become a problem. I don't really have a consistent strat for dealing with other knife guy. Other than sometimes if you go down here, other knife guy just won't spawn. I don't know what that's about. This strat is all about timing, basically. You want to, we actually don't need this Ninja orb, but I get it anyways. You want to go up here, slash the bird. From up there, okay, so again, this is kind of one of these things where like all of these little boxes have 2 pixels that you can stand on. You can stand on the left pixel or you can be standing on the right pixel. This is something that makes movement in this part feel very weird because the game always puts you on one of those 2 pixels, and it's just a question of which one. And again, if you're standing on the right pixel, you're never going to actually get any running speed, and you can get Roadrunner time very easily. Whereas if you're standing on the left pixel, you can do this thing where you're standing on the left pixel here, I run off, and I get run speed. So that's just kind of a demonstration. For the most part, in this part, you're just going to be holding right. But again, holding right is very hard in this game. And you actually want to release it. Like, I normally release it for a little bit there so that I can be certain that I'm actually on the left pixel because it's easier to make this jump if you actually have run speed. And again, like some of the parts in here, it's better to release it for a second. Okay, from here, I think either of these 2 pixels, no, sorry. You want to start on the left pixel and run to the right pixel, but I think if you don't have run speed, it's actually fine. All right. There I got Roadrunner timed, so just, you know, be careful. I slashed too early. This part is quite hard, but you'll get the hang of it. Yeah, you don't want to slash too early. You want to slash late. Your sword hitbox is gigantic in this game compared to the NES version, so just also be aware of that. All right. There I got Roadrunner time. That platform has particularly bad Roadrunner time, so I like to try to make sure that I'm always on the left pixel when I actually start a jump so that I will be fine. Okay. Okay. This is our first slash ever in the game. That's the normal behavior of this game. Is if you don't have run speed, that platform will kill you. So you can set up on the right pixel as much as you like, but you actually have to be running and jump on the last possible frame to grab that ladder. Which is a problem because we don't like to have lots of places in our game where you need to do a frame perfect jump to actually get there. So the fast version of this is to just get the frame perfect jump and then jump up there, and then you're fine. But that's hard. So we do a slash hover instead. You can also, if you're like a god gamer, you can actually avoid that grab. But anyway, we do 1 slash hover. And then there's 2 facts that are working in our favor. One is that if you jump backwards, you actually get more height than if you jump forwards. The other is that we get a little bit closer to that platform. Getting this part without letting go is so hard. So I normally just let go. Just let go for like 2 frames and then it'll be easier. If you fall down here, you should grab that orb because it's a scroll. The scroll is different in this game than it is in the NES version for some reason. Anyway, so you just want to line up on that pixel, press slash, and then press the opposite direction, and you'll hover over the gap and be fine. Right here, we jump slash this guy. Oh, shoot, that's not a good... Let me make a save state for that screen. All right, so I line up there, I slash hover. All right. Okay, so on this screen, we're gonna jump. So this is kind of a complicated strat. Jump there. You want to jump from the very edge of this platform if you can. Land on that thing, and then jump slash the roll guy. And again, you're using the fact that your sword has a massive lingering hitbox, so you're pressing slash way earlier than you think you should. Usually pressing slash earlier, like when you're not getting a guy, pressing slash earlier is probably the solution. Press slash earlier than you think and press jump earlier than you think. Okay, then you want to drift through those platforms, use the shuriken to kill gun guy, and then you can just jump up here. It's a very simple screen, but not too bad. Alright, we're going to damage boost off of fire guy. This orb is Ninpo, which we don't need. This orb is a clone, which we do need. And this orb here, which is vanilla, is health. So if you don't have two clones here, if you died for some reason, normally I just go this route. Get both of these clones, just slash this fire guy with 3 slashes, and then jump up here. However, I do have 2 clones. So the fast way to do this is to jump over this guy and then jump here and deboost up there. It's just like the NES version. I think the deboosting timing is a little bit different in this game. In this game, the key thing to actually getting up somewhere with a deboost is that you have like falling speed, not rising speed. The other knight guy from behind that you would use in the NES version doesn't exist in this game, so, or he does exist, he just like spawns in a weird location and doesn't actually go up here, so you can't do anything. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna deboost up here, slash that guy, and then jump up here. Oops. Getting this jump is a little bit finicky, but anyway, we're gonna do the boss. This boss is really simple. What the heck? Okay. Sometimes the game just like puts you in the air and it's really awkward. I don't know why the game is doing that for me this time. This normally does not happen, but well, maybe if I like reset this thing, it'll. Maybe it's because I'm too high up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this looks fine. I don't know why that happened. Sometimes, yeah. Anyway, this boss strat is very simple. It's very simple, but it's not very easy. You want to land, so you want to jump. How do I explain this? How do I do this? You want to jump, slash his orb in the air, and then land right there. This boss can be a disaster like that, but normally it's fine. Normally you just run along, jump, and then land here. And then do that. Easy. I guess there's 3 key things. One is you want to run along this platform. Rather than just jumping immediately, you want to run along the platform a little bit. 2 is slashing in midair to counteract his bomb. And then 3 is you want to land exactly on the little crack that I landed on last time I did it. So, shoot. Hitting his thing with the slash is a little bit hard again, and you want to slash a little bit earlier than I was doing. Oops. I don't know why that didn't work. Maybe later? I don't know. The slash timing is a little challenging. I did it, but then I held right for too long. You want to stop holding right at some point. And then even if he hits you, you'll still be fine because your 3rd clone will still be up there. If you mess this up, it's helpful to have the firewheel power, but I picked up the shuriken in this stage, so I don't know. You can get a firewheel, like if you come up from this direction, you can get a firewheel from this orb, which is normally what I do, because which Ninpo power you have doesn't matter, except if this boss goes sideways. So, yeah. Anyway, the load timing can be a little bit wonky here, so it's hard to do this consistently, but this is the strat. Yeah. I think that's the fastest. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's because you don't actually have enough Ninbo to kill the boss. So, yeah. Anyway, we skip that cutscene. Most cutscenes have a little thing. Okay. 4-1. 4-1 is a very interesting stage. All right. So normally I use this little area between those two rocks to time my jumps here. So I'll jump here. Oops, that's too early. Or that's too late. You want to jump like right when you get into this box. And then in this game, Ryu will do a jump if you press the jump button, like what feels like a little bit early to me. So I'm jumping like before I'm actually seeing myself on the ground. And you can just jump through those guys. Here I use this little dragon mouth as a visual cue for jumping over the third guy. So normally I jump like right on that tile. Oops. Because you move like one tile per frame, it's easy to have these nice like frame perfect setups where you just like look at the screen and then it tells you. You have to wait for that fireball. It's unfortunate but true. Like the invincible fire wheel can't be relied on to do anything to the fireballs. Like I look forward to someone actually doing some more invincible firewheel science, but the invincible firewheel science that I've done demonstrates to me that it's just not a good idea to try to use the invincible firewheel for anything because you will randomly die and it'll feel really bad. All right, don't ask me why that works because I have no idea, but it does work. Okay, so we jump through these guys using these cues. We slash that guy and wait. We standing slash this guy. If you don't slash him, he'll ruin your dreams, so. You're totally getting hit by this thing. I don't know why you don't actually get hit by it. It's not the end of the world if you get hit early either. Okay, so let's make a save state here. If you jump slightly too late, you'll wind up lower down on this thing, and then bad things will happen, like that bat can come back or other weird things. There is kind of like a way to go where you go this way, and then, I don't know, weird things happen. I haven't really investigated what you do, because I think that this is pretty much just as fast. Just jumping through that. Jump over this guy. You can jump over this guy. Okay, here's something where you actually have a choice. You can go for this frame perfect jump where you just get up there. And the game will often give you like a little bit of lag on the last jump for some reason. Like it seems like you don't just like smoothly run off the edge there. But it is effectively frame perfect, so I don't normally go for that in runs. Normally I just jump on a frame earlier and then you get up there. Okay, this strat is another kind of interesting amalgamation of things. Oh god, this is really bad. So basically this is part where it's like the actual thing is really easy, but if you mess it up, bad things can happen. Like that lava bat can come back, or all right. Oh shoot, I should have made a save state because this is going to take some explaining. Okay. All right. So here I'm using the same mouth as a visual cue. So there's three parts to this thing. I'm using the same mouth as a visual cue. So I use the same mouth as a visual cue. I jump slash the fire bat. And then jumping, I jump slash this bat too. And I'm slashing kind of like right after the peak of my jump. So there was too early. Okay, another thing is that if you jump like here, which is a frame too late, that's what happened to you. You get hit by the fireball. So you want to jump exactly on that frame. And then the bat isn't really frame perfect, but you just want to slash a little earlier. Okay. And then this last part is this. So there's another bat that you can hardly see because this game is really hard to see things in. And if I just walk along, he'll spawn there and I have to slash him and then jump over here. Instead, what I do is this. So I jump slash this guy, go under this guy. Oops. Yeah, and that bat will normally kill you if you don't get this, so. Not always. This is, like, one of the reasons why I do this instead of something else is that this is actually a pretty generous trick. Okay, we jump right after the first orb and it spawns the bat high. Unfortunately, if you just keep going after that, yeah, this I'm still jumping like a frame too late here. Anyway, jump right after this orb, then you wait for a little second for that bat to go, and then you just jump up here. Okay, be careful not to die here. It's very easy if you just press right at all when you're going up here, you will just die. So you want to spend at least one frame doing that. Here's another thing where we're going to use a slash hover to avoid a frame perfect trick. So if you jump on the last frame of this thing here, you will you'll make it, but it's very difficult to do that. So instead, normally what I do is this. I let my momentum carry me. So these platforms here have 4 pixels you can stand on. There's like this pixel, this pixel, this pixel, and this pixel, and then you're dead, right? So normally you have to jump from the 4th pixel. And in addition to having to jump from the 4th pixel, I don't think you can just jump. Yeah, you can. Okay. So one way of doing this thing is just like set up on the 4th pixel somehow and then jump. But you're vulnerable to accidentally pressing left before jumping. So normally I set up on this 3rd pixel, do a slash hover, and then jump up there. Yeah. And that kind of... There's also some things that I've thought about where you like try to jump slash this thing or something. Like don't go quite as high, but your jump, the length is really heavily nerfed, so you have to go pretty high anyways. The advantage of the slash hover thing is it also works if you're on the 4th pixel, whereas like if you accidentally jump from the 3rd pixel here, you're super dead. Normally I jump all the way into the menu just to make sure that the fire doesn't get far enough down. Alright. Okay, so here... Another thing about the movement in this game is slashing in midair also kills all your momentum. You can see that if you slash in midair, you get... It's bad. Well, it's not bad. It's just different, right? It's different from doing a normal jump. Slashing in midair actually like moves you downwards, basically. So against this guy, we're going to jump early and then use the lingering hitbox as well as the slash manipulation to get him. Where precisely you should jump is a little bit up for debate, but I normally try to jump a little bit early. We're going to slash jump that guy. I normally get the fire wheel here so that I can kill this guy with the Ninpo. This is pretty complicated again. We're going to jump early. If you jump too early, you get hit by that ball in midair though, so you want to jump. It's a little bit precise. I think there's 2 frames where you can jump. Anyway, if you want to get the fire wheel here, you can jump slash it and just jump over that guy. That's a scroll. You do want that. Normally, I just hold into that guy there. I guess I'll make a save state later on so that I can explain this later part. That was too late. I'm going to jump a little bit earlier than that. Okay, so we're here. We're going to pick up this thing. You want to be on the 2nd pixel so that you don't fall off the edge immediately. Don't try what I just did. You will die. You can do it, but it takes like... Basically, he needs to be moving the other direction before you do it, so... it's just better to clear him with Ninpo. Normally, I just take a hit from that guy. Yeah. And then I guess, yeah, don't do that. Just get the thing, line up on the second pixel, jump into this guy. Yeah, you can't actually climb on that stuff that looks climbable. Classic Ninja Gaiden 2 DOS. You can try to deboost off of him if you want, but it doesn't really matter. Oops. Because you still have to wait for these things. So it is probably actually slightly faster to deboost off of this guy, but it's just kind of uncomfortable. Because you still have to, like... If you don't deboost off of him, you stay in a good screen scrolling position too. Okay, anyway, you don't want to be standing... Like, here's the furthest right you want to be standing. Again, this is something where having input powers, you can clear these things. And that's like a minor time save. The reason why it's a minor time save is that you can't actually, like... You still can't really get what you want. Because both of them are going to fire. Your clones are too far behind you to really matter. And you can't use the invincible fire wheel to go through them like you would in the NES version. Like, they just hate you instead. There's probably a faster thing here that I haven't found yet. I'm actually almost certain of it, and I'm getting close to this with, like, this upfire strat. Obviously, this depends on having the upfire, but, like, that seems pretty good. But again, if you're not interested in... Like, if you're just interested in surviving this stage, you don't have to do that. You can just do this strat, which is like maybe, I don't know, 2 seconds slower or something like that. Where you just go right into that guy and then slash him. And then you just wait here. You have to wait in a very particular spot because the hitbox for the fireballs is gigantic. But that's going to be mostly consistent and just a little bit slower than something else. Once again, don't do that. I have a real big problem remembering because it looks like you can, just based on the rest of my intuition in this game, but it's really bad if you get hit by the fire too. That's another thing to remember, is like you lose a huge chunk of time if you get hit by this fire. I want there to be a way so badly for this to work. One more try, and then I'll give up the strat finding while I'm doing a tutorial. One more. Oh, come on. I think you can actually, like, jump a little early or something. Or, like, go under and then weave through somehow. I'm on a really weird subpixel here. That's the other thing about finding strats in this game, is you have to test them from the beginning of the stage always. It might look like it works on your save state, but that's because you're on a particular subpixel alignment that has dramatic implications for whether or not your strat is actually going to perform in practice. So if you don't remember anything else from this video, I would recommend remembering that. Oops, we didn't get the scroll. We actually do want to have the scroll. There's a couple of scrolls that we skip because we don't actually need that much info. But anyway, I'm not going to do more stupid strat finding. Just fire that guy, jump into this guy, slash him, and then stand here, and then stand here. Okay. Now we're on to these stupid pillars. These pillars are a nightmare. But these pillars are also something where you can demonstrate P-speed. So on each of those pillars, there's both a left pixel and a right pixel, just like before. And how long you're running on the pillar, whether it's 1 frame or 2 frames, determines your speed. So you can get this beautiful P-speed strat where you have the momentum to slash that bird in midair. Or you can get kind of this like broken strat where you have to grab the thing. There's lots of different things that can happen to you here. Maybe you like don't get P-speed twice in a row and then you're like here. You can just run off, but then this bat will come back to bite you. And you have to deal with the bat at some point. So it's fastest to do this strat where you just slash the bat here and then jump up these guys. It doesn't really matter whether you land on top of these guys or not. But if that doesn't happen to you, well, actually, because the bat is such a pain and it can just kill you, I recommend that if you like accidentally don't get P-speed here, you should just try to get it again here so that you can successfully deal with the bat. All right. Yeah, so like I didn't get it there. Normally I would just do this because there's less risk of dying. It's really not that much slower. Anyway. On this strat here, you just have to land on the left. It's really easy. If you land on the right, then you die because this thing hits you. I don't think there's really a way to avoid that. Invincible fire wheel, usually you'll die anyways, even if you have it active. So just land on the left. And then again, you do need to get P-speed. If you don't, then this jump will kill you. So you do need to be on the left pixel anyways, because if you're not, then well, you get Roadrunner time too, but oh, you can actually make that jump, I guess. I've been killed by that jump before, but anyway, just land on the left-hand pixel and you'll be fine. Just get P-speed and you'll be fine. In all of these cases, it's important to remember once again that you should never press jump too early. I don't want to press jump in the middle of this thing because what'll happen is this. Oops. What'll happen is this. I'll like press jump in midair and fall to my death instead of beautifully grabbing the thing. All right, here's another opportunity where you can get P-speed or not, and what you do depends dramatically on it. Oh yeah, another thing to keep in mind is, well, yeah. So if you have P-speed, you can slash that guy, jump over the lava, and then do another jump here, and then press up to clear the stage. This is your one opportunity to get it, because once you're on the next thing, the thing will spawn. Getting the timing right for the jump is really hard too, but shoot. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I survived that. Anyway, so once again, if you get it, you should just jump, slash the guy, and then jump over the fire, jump once, and then crawl up. Okay, here's what to do if you don't get it. So let's say we accidentally didn't get it. You just want to jump from crawl. So let me demonstrate that again. We didn't get it. Just jump. Don't worry about the bird. And then you can kind of thread the needle between the bird and the lava. You just have to wait the appropriate amount of time, which is not that easy to do, but you're also not going to die if you mess it up, as long as you hold right during the, like, once you get hit by the lava or once you get hit by the bird. You want to press jump in very quick succession, and then you just press jump once, and then you clear the stage. Okay, stage 4-2. 4-2 used to be a gigantic nightmare, and now it's still kind of a gigantic nightmare. For this water section, you just want to be jumping as much as possible until you get to the fast water. Normally, I just crawl on that water and then get the slime to deboost me across. That's honestly the fastest thing that I've found here. You can actually do the NES thing, but if you get hit on the wall, things are really bad for you in this game. Because, first of all, it boosts you off the wall. Second of all, you turn around, and the combination of these things means that you basically can't grab the wall for like maybe a second and a half. So this is like a safe and fast strategy to do what you need to do. Okay. Yeah. You can also kind of force Ryu to land by pressing the jump button. If you're close to the ground, he'll like land and do things. Anyway, here there's like a bad jump you can get and there's a good jump you can get. So there's two bad jumps you can get. One is if you're on the last, I guess if you're actually on the last pixel. I don't actually know what happens if you're on the very last pixel. I try not to be on the very last pixel. I think it kills you, but not 100% sure. Does it kill you? Well, you get hit by the slime, so it's kind of, yeah, a little bit awkward. That's the good jump, which is the second to last pixel. If you're on the third to last pixel, you'll actually just die. Let me demonstrate what happens. It's, oh, what? I didn't actually just die. I thought that was the third to last pixel. Ah, yeah, there's the bad pixel. So basically you just want to be, like, it looks like you should grab the wall there. You just want to be a little bit further to the right than where you are when you do that. Like one pixel further to the right, and then you'll grab it. If you have 3 clones, you want to grab that. I normally grab the fire wheel here. There's an opportunity to grab it in the next screen. These things here are all things you need to just like learn the timing for. I crouch stabbed that guy. Be aware that the slime's fireball can extend across the screen, and then I just slash both of those guys and then fall down here, just like in normal Ninja Gaiden. Okay. Here's the fun part. I guess you would call it the fun part. This jump is impossible to make. You actually literally cannot make this jump. It's impossible. I've tried many times to make this jump. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can take an intentional death, and then it resets your sub position, and you can actually make the jump. I think you have to, like, I don't remember what the rules are. It has to be like a certain kind of death, and then, yeah. So before I knew about slash hovering, I just kind of like did that. You have to move over a little bit. If you don't move at all, it doesn't help. And then if you have P speed, you can make the jump. That's not gonna cut it. So instead we do this. We set up on this pixel, we do a slash hover, and then we jump. And then you can get over. That's a fire wheel if you don't already have fire wheel. It actually doesn't matter what input power you have at all, so yeah. Anyway, that's that screen. Just take your time with the slash hover thing. You definitely need to set up on the right pixel. We haven't done one yet, but you can actually do multiple slash hovers in a row. So as long as you're only pressing it for 1 frame, which is really easy to do because it's a 10 FPS game, you won't fall. Oh, and then this wall here is just not even a wall. So yeah. So like that, you just want to be careful and make sure that you don't die here because it's really bad if you do die. It makes the next screen way harder, and yeah, you might lose time in the boss fight, etc. Okay. So there's 2 strats for the screen. One is the deboost strat, where you do this deboost, you set up on both of these pixels and do 2 slash hovers, and then you can pick up that clone and land on, well, there's a lot of things you can land on, but normally the best, so I line up with these 2, oops. there's two like bright orange stalagmites that are like right next to each other. I normally line up there to do this, and then just do. You want to be on the very last pixel when you do the slash hover, and then just do 2 slash hovers, line up there, and then you're home free. That's I think slower than what I normally do, which is so that's if you don't have 2 clones. If you don't have any clones, or if you don't have any clones, you actually don't need 2 clones. You just need 1 clone to do the fast strat on this boss. But anyway, the other strat is just to go through this water, and then when you get to the end of it, go to the left so that you can scroll the screen. And then you want the rightmost platform to be on the screen when you make this jump. Well, here, I'll show you what happens if you don't adjust the screen. It's very bad. Which is that you can be on this platform, how you can even be on the second thing, and you just won't make the jump because the game doesn't let you travel off the screen. So instead, we jump backwards to the first waterfall and then scroll the screen. And then as long as this platform is on screen, you can make the jump. Well, okay. So once again, we're doing kill that guy, kill that guy, kill that guy, jump backwards, scroll the screen, do 1 slash hover, and then jump, jump, jump. Slash that thing. I normally just standing slash this line. Okay. Anyway, the deboost strat is harder because you have to do two pixel perfect. Well, I mean, it's not hard, like it's tile perfect. You just have to set up on the right tile, but it's not easy to do those things fast. Whereas this setup, you have to set up once on the right tile. It's very easy to do it because there's only 2 tiles you can possibly set up on, and then you're back here. Even if you get hit by the fire, you should be fine using this strat, so that's another cool thing. Alright, this brown guy is the worst enemy in the world. Normally, I just try to, like, do something that seems like it'll make sense, but yeah, this brown guy sucks. It's bad. It's very bad. This jump here is also extremely hard. Don't worry about grabbing the ninpo on accident, it doesn't matter. So sometimes I do this jump to the left if I'm worried about missing it, and that kind of helps. I don't know if it really helps. Like, yeah, it's just hard. The water's pushing you around, and it's just a hard jump. Okay. Here you want to do 1 jump and then another jump and land there. Okay. And then this is another thing where you can actually make this jump by running. But you need running speed, and you need to make it on the 2nd frame. So it's a 1 frame jump. And I've basically said that if I'm going to be running this game, there's really no reason to go for 1 frame jumps that lose like 30 seconds when you die. So I normally just set up on this tile and do single slash hover, and it loses like 1 second, and then everybody's happy. Normally I get the shriek in here. The last part of this stage is really just like, this brown guy, this guy sucks really bad. That's another reason to jump to the left, is so that you don't accidentally just die to that guy. You can't just go for this jump, unfortunately. I guess you can, but it's... As you can see, it's just incredibly dangerous, because if he hits you while you're on the wall, instead of the NES version where you're fine, in this version you get deboosted off the wall and you die. So, oh, I guess you could do that. That would be insanely fast and probably also just like really dangerous, because again, pressing slash in the air is just not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all. So you want to wait until you're on the wall to press slash, and then using up that ninpo doesn't matter. Oh my gosh. Okay. Normally I want to wait to drop there so I can just jump over this mask guy. But if you fall down there, you can just jump and falling slash mask guy, and it doesn't matter. All right, here's the tour de force of this level, which is the boss of 542. We just run over here. We wait for 1 frame, and then we just spam slash, and then we get on the wall so that the claw doesn't kill you. It's really that simple. If you jump a little bit too early, sometimes you won't wind up on the platform. So I like to just like wait a little bit to jump. And then normally I try to be just a little bit like slow and careful when I'm setting up my clone, because if you don't get the clone set up, then this boss is kind of a giant pain and it's really bad. Like, the claw will just push you into the pit and there's really nothing you can do about it. Like, even if you're holding a direction, that won't change. The claw does a ton of damage. If you're too close to the face, that happens and you fall into the pit. That's another reason to walk for a little bit longer and then just take it a little slow when you're setting up the clone position, and then just spam slash as quickly as you can. If you don't have any clones during this fight, what I would recommend is this, which is go under him. Oh shoot. So you can get like two slashes per jump, and then you just like wind up over here. The claw will hit you, and then you can do another 2 slashes per jump. And then you can go over here and then jump again, and the claw will hit you because its hitbox is huge. So there's really 2 places you can be during this fight. You can be up on that ledge. Oops, yeah. I guess it's not a bad idea, even if you don't have clones, to go for this deboost setup anyways, and then just like get your 2 slashes in, get a bunch of slashes in here, and then just like go down here and wait for the claw. If you want to, you can actually, you can also do this idea where you go down here, you get deboosted by the claw first, you get your, oops. So this is another thing, why you want your position. You just want to be a little bit careful about your position during this fight, because you're not going to lose a ton of time by having it proper, like, setting up properly. And then, yeah. It's really hard to get underneath the claw, so I would just recommend being on the left side for the entire time, because you have to, like, jump that far down in order to get under the claw. And so you can get some extra damage in that way, but you have to be like literally 1 frame from death. Like, that was too high there. So anyway, let's do one normal one. So go under, just and this is why we don't use ninja powers, because all the bosses are just like this stupidly trivial. Well, not all of them, but most of them. All right, we're in 5-1. 5-1 is a very interesting stage. So jump, you want to jump a little early so you can jump over this guy. This is a clone if you need it. Yeah, so a lot of the movement on the screen is kind of a little bit self-evident. Again, you want to jump a little before the ledge to make it easier to jump over this guy, jump over that guy. We already have 2 clones. I'm just going to slash that guy, falling slash that guy. It's actually good for me if I keep the... It actually doesn't matter at all. I don't know why I care about Shuriken. There's some good things that you can do with Shuriken if you mess up, but anyway. If you falling slash that guy high, you can get a bad ninja power. It doesn't really matter though. I don't know. There's some things that Shuriken is useful for, but we're gonna be picking up the upfire anyways. So yeah. You can also, I've experimented with this. I don't think it's faster, but you can also jump on this platform, jump on this platform, slash other knife guy, and then like clip through the wall here. But it doesn't really save time, so it's not useful. Anyway, just deboost off that guy by pressing backwards in midair. Okay, then we're here. Here we do, oh shoot, that was weird. That normally doesn't happen. Let me get that again. This game is coming apart at the seams, is another, Alright, you want to jump from the middle because if you jump a little bit too early, you'll actually die. You won't grab the wall in time. Okay, so anyway. For this thing, we're just going to do a slash hover into the wall and then jump. And we're going to just like clip through the wall. You kind of want to get a deboost from that slime. And then you can see how far right we are on the screen. This is like kind of an issue. It makes this part really scary because you actually have kind of a limited amount of health in this stage. So, yeah. Alright. In the NES version, other knife guy comes from the left. In this version, he spawns on the right, and he spawns on, well, it's very complicated because, oh shoot. Oh, that's happening a lot. Anyway, you can do 2 slash hovers into the wall if you really want to. Anyway, we actually want the screen to be scrolled pretty far to the right here for a reason I'm going to show you later. So this is good. Further right is possible, but not optimal. Okay, so see this thing that I was on there? Sorry, my clones are in the way. If you're when other night guy spawns depends on like your position in the screen, which is like you might be scrolled really far right and then like it might be different. But anyway, in this setup where I'm scrolled this far right, this little bright spot in the background is where you want to slash him. And then there's 2 jumps you can do. If you jump a frame, like there's basically a frame perfect jump where you can actually get all the way up there, or a 1 frame early jump where you can not get all the way up there. We want the one where you get all the way up there. But you don't have to go for the frame perfect jump. We're going to do 1 slash hover to get over this thing. And then we're going to, yeah, so this is, if you get the early one, it doesn't matter. Just kind of jump up there. We're going to damage boost off this guy, and then we're going to do a slash hover. This is something where the trick only works if you do it quickly, so I can't really demonstrate how it works when you're slow, but or how it works like step by step. But we're gonna slash hover, jump, deboost, slash hover, and then we're gonna shoot. That guy's always a problem in this setup, but it doesn't really matter. All right. All right. And there's ways to do this more quickly, but I would recommend just doing what I do here and just playing it slowly, because the amount of time that you can save is really not that high. And like weird things can happen if you activate that ninja power, for example. So I use the shadow. Like once your foot is on top of the shadow, then you are in like you're on the last possible You're on the last possible pixel of the platform. So like there. Oops. You actually have to do the jump. Oh, shoot. This is something where subpixels come into play. Because like I'm standing here. If I jump and fall, I'll actually fall. Like I'm not actually standing on anything there. I'm just standing on like pure willpower. But that's something you can do in this game. So don't, basically, if you do the slash over too early, you'll wind up there. And I mean, it doesn't really lose time, but you know, it's better to go one pixel further and not have to do the extra jump. Even though you're not actually standing on anything. Don't ask me how it works. All right, we do this slash thing, we kill that guy, and then we go through the wall. Okay. What happens here is highly dependent on the screen scrolling. So like, if I'm here, the screen is scrolled much less to the right, and I actually don't make it through this wall, so I have to do one slash hover to get through. Which is slower, obviously. Oops. Once again, this is something where like the way that I move through this room might be secretly dependent on my sub position, and I just want to be careful of that. Anyway, if you are actually scrolled that far to the right, then you can just like clip through that wall for free, and it's just completely, you know, it's completely free. You do want to get this scroll, so yeah. You also, because of how far scrolled you are to the right, the like ending trigger for the game is in a weird spot. So you need to make sure to be on the left side of this thing to actually get through. And then there's these bats that are really annoying that can spawn. I normally just falling slash that guy. There is health here. You don't need it. And maybe you do need it, but like if you took a bunch of extra damage in this stage, you might actually want to get the health. But normally you don't need it. We're going to get more health in stage 5, too. You can only skip the cutscene after the like running sequence. So yeah. Okay, this is Jor's favorite stage in the NES version. I can't say I'm a huge fan of this stage in this version. It's a time. So the ice physics in this game are extremely interesting. You have like slow startup and slide. Once you're at a certain speed, so like if you're just starting out, slashing will stop you. But if you're at run speed, slashing will actually boost you really far, really fast. It's dangerous because if you slash, you often don't have an opportunity to jump. Like if I slash there, I actually can't. Well, okay. If I slash too close to the edge, like if I slash maybe like here or something, I actually will not be able to jump. The game will not let you jump. So a lot of this stage is about being careful with slashes, and the other thing that's weird is because you're on ice and you can actually adjust your character's position pixel by pixel, but the geometry is still tile by tile. Well, it just leads to some things that are very strange. Like basically the strats on this stage are all based around trying to not get screwed by this like weird geometry thing. So normally I jump slash that guy. You can look at your ninpo and see if you actually want this ninpo. It's not that hard to get this ninpo. You can just like jump over that guy and you'll get it on the way down. Normally I don't go for something that aggressive because I don't want to die to that. So I'll just like slash a little early and then do that or something. In this next part, there's two visual cues that are important. The beginning of this wall is where you want to slash to boost, and then the end of the wall is where you want to jump slash to kill both of those slimes. So we're going to slash here and then jump slash there. All right, there's a little piece of geometry that you can crawl on here. So often, if you jump up from here, you'll actually wind up clinging to it, so you can just press down to get off of it. So let's do that one more time. I normally just slash early, take the safe jumping option there. It's not that much slower. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Here, if we don't do anything, see this bird that spawns behind me? That bird is really annoying. So normally I do a like right after landing, once I get run speed, I do a slash boost, and then the bird doesn't spawn. Yeah, and that's a place where you can get an extra little bit of speed by doing a slash boost, but there's no reason. There's no real reason to do it, and if you want to do one, you should do it as early as possible. All right, this part of the game is the worst. Right after this part, this part is all fine. It's just like, it's a little bit, you'll get used to the ice physics. Sometimes the bird spawns. You can't really do anything about that. I mean, you can, but you just have to be careful. All right, I should make a save state where I need to for just explaining what happens next. I normally just wait and slash boost into the spider. That's a place where you can die if you press jump too early. That's exactly what happened to me there, was I pressed jump a little bit too early, and then I wound up getting completely owned. So you just want to be firmly planted on the wall whenever you press jump. Okay. So in an ideal world, this is what would happen. You'd slash the spider, you'd jump over the bat, everybody would be happy. All right, you just like slash the spider, you jump over the bat, everybody would be happy. Essentially, there's like a bunch of different things that can happen to you here, and doing this section well is about just controlling the madness. So that's the ideal. Like that's probably the fastest strat there is. But you can't always do it reliably, and it relies on this like really weird kind of frame perfect jump here where you like jump over the bat at the very edge of the platform. And like I said, there's no good reason to do frame perfect strats in this game. It's just not that optimized. So there's a couple other things you can do. You can do this where you jump early and then switch positions. That's a pretty consistent way to get through the bat. By the way, the bat's spawning location is, let me try to show it to you. So the bat spawning location is this tile here. So the bat spawns in at whatever Y location you enter this tile. So in order to understand where the bat's going to spawn, you need to be consistent with where you enter that tile. And as long as you're consistent about where you enter the tile, the bat will spawn consistently, and you can do some kind of consistent trick here. I like this backwards deboost thing because I feel like it's relatively easy to do, but it does rely on not jumping too early and then getting this thing, because then the bat will spawn too high, and then you just do like a regular deboost to get through. So if you do wind up like, this is actually something you can do intentionally, is like this, right? Where you jump like right after the orb, or maybe like right under the orb, slash early to intentionally land on this thing, and then just, well, okay. I say just. You land on this thing, you press jump twice to like spawn the bat high, but you have to press jump twice because if you don't press jump twice, this is what happens. You just go over the platform. So the second jump is to manipulate your momentum so that you fall onto the platform. And then you can just boost off the bat onto the wall, the upper wall. And this is, I think it's maybe like a little bit more consistent, but that can happen to you where the bat doesn't, like if you accidentally jump too early, then you'll wind up below where you wanted to be. If you accidentally land on the platform, then the bat spawns anyways. So, normally, I usually just go for bat on the platform, but if I accidentally mess up and jump too early, I'll go for damage boost to the other wall. But this is a pretty easy damage boost to get. It just requires a little bit of timing. This strat is a little bit more manageable because you have direct control over where the bat's going to spawn, but it's hard because you have to remember to press jump twice. And like, basically it's very easy to accidentally just overshoot and fall to your death. The other thing you can do, which I think is totally reasonable if you're starting out, is this, where you just kill the spider. You kill the bat somehow. Maybe you use an input power to kill the bat. And then you just do one slash hover to get through. Yes, it's slower. It's not that much slower. And it saves you the pain of having to do this like really difficult strat that has lots of different forms. And, you know, things that are surprising can happen here. So if you just kill the bat, then nothing bad should happen to you. You don't even have to do the slash hover. Like, you can actually just make this jump. But it's not worth it to go for these stupid things that don't save time. Or, like, save, like, fractions of a second in this game. Because this game is just way, like, you're just going to be losing way too much time to other things to even think about optimizing that hard until, like, way later on. This is one of the hardest sections of the game to get right because of the variability of the bat spawning location. So doing it consistently is really tough, and just try to get through it, basically. Okay, in this place there's two different things you can do. So like after we kill the bat, there's two different things you can do. Normally you'll pick up that power. And so from here, there's two things you can do. One is you can, we have an info here. We can just use the power, grab the health, and then just fall down. This is a little bit hard to do because if you're on the ice and you use a power, it acts like a sword thing. So it'll like boost you forward if you're moving, which is kind of what you want to have happen. But that means you have a very short window in which to actually use the power. And weird things can happen to you. The other thing you can do here is just slash jump that and then deboost off the guy, which is faster. It's a little bit scarier because there's really only 2 pixels you can be on. If you're too far to the right, then you'll just die. Or too far to the left, then you'll just die. But this is what I've been doing recently. I think this strat is really good. It's faster. It's also less inconsistent because this thing relies A on having that input power, B it relies on having clones, and C it relies on being able to activate the input power in this like very short window. So even though it seems like it should be easier to do this, one of the finicky things in this game is that you can't activate input powers unless you're pressing like no other buttons. If you're pressing like right, if you're holding down right and you, well, I guess you can do it. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't work. Anyway, that's obviously very slow because you get stuck. You want to activate it while you're moving. I guess I could be sold on the applicability of this strat. If you jump too early, though, you still die. So there's still danger. And like where it puts you is kind of inconsistent. Like sometimes you just fall down instantly. So I don't know. I think I like this strat better. I think it's easier, more consistent, and it's a little bit faster. And you don't use up any ninpo. So if you don't actually happen to have any ninpo here, you don't have to worry. You can just do this. Ryu will also automatically grab the wall. So you don't even have to press any buttons once you do the deboost. You just have to make sure you're far enough to the right, which I wasn't in both of those times, but... Alright, this screen is basically the same one in 1-1, where we're just trying not to take it too riskily. Here we hold down and right. There is a frame perfect, I think it's also subposition dependent whether you can do it thing here where you can like jump on the very last part of this platform and actually get up there without having to grab the wall. Maybe I'm not on the right subposition though. Yeah, it looks like I need one more pixel of movement and I'm not sure that I actually have it. Oh yeah, that was good. Okay. Anyway, don't go for that is my recommendation. Alright, we're gonna go under other knife guy. Oh my gosh, this strat is hard to do. There's a backup, so don't worry too much, but it is a tough strat. Let me see if I can get it, and then I'll explain what it's all about. Alright, so we want to get over this gap. In the NES version, it's simple, right? You just like run and then you jump over the gap. Easy. Hey, it actually worked this time. Running and jumping over this gap is subpixel dependent, which means it depends on the number of frames that you've been running on the ice because the ice changes your subposition every time. Whether you can actually make this jump, there's some subpositions where you cannot make this jump. There's some subpositions where even if you jump on the last possible frame, you will die because you're not far enough to the right. One strategy that you can adopt is just like, okay, well, I don't care. I'll just like go for it and do the frame perfect jump. But like I said, it's just not that good to do frame perfect jumps in a game where, you know, you're going to lose 30 seconds when you do your frame perfect jump. So one thing you can do, which is consistent, is manipulate your subposition. So I think on this subposition, it should always work. You should always get a frame where you can do it. It's still a frame perfect jump, so it's not that easy, but it's not that hard. It's only a 10 FPS game after all. So you want to be exactly on this pixel, and then you should have a frame where you can do it. I haven't used this for a long time, so my setup is kind of ancient, but anyway. Should always have, yeah, that frame where he puts his foot out is the one where you want to jump. So, boop. He'll put his foot out, and then you can jump. Obviously, setting up on that pixel is like not that easy, and you have to kill these guys, and you have to have ninpo and whatever. So what I've been doing more recently is this, where we just spawn other night guy, and then we wait for other night guy, and then we damage boost across the gap. And it's more consistent. I don't know about easier, but it is. Alright, so other night guy spawns not on this tile, but on the next tile. So he spawns there. And you have to kind of wait for him because he's not that fast. But he's deceptively fast. So what you want to do is like do that and then just wait for him here. Oh, shoot. Yeah. I pressed... Yeah, I pressed the other button too quickly. He will actually boost you pretty far, so you don't have to be that close to the gap to get the boost. The key thing is just knowing which X position he spawns on, which is like, yeah, and not getting killed by these stupid enemies is the other important factor here. Ugh, I didn't press left in time. You have to press left right before he hits you, and then he'll just shoot you right across the gap. Yeah, there we go. If you don't like the pixel setup or the other knife guy setup, you can also just do a slash hover, which is, you know, also something that's extremely good. So if you jump and land on the ice, you don't wind up with any momentum. So this is normally how I set up the slash hover. Normally, I would set up the slash hover by doing this. Jumping. I'm going to fall into that guy and slash him because that's the fastest thing I can do there, and then just jump to the edge, and then... Yeah, you don't want to slash in midair because that loses you momentum, and you need every bit of gas you have to jump across here. So let's say I missed the bus on other knife guy. I can just jump to the edge right here and then do a slash hover. Ugh. The slash hover needs to... the slash hover is also scary because it needs to be in a very specific position where it's like, alright, so we kill another knife guy. Oh god. Crawl guy came after us. Anyway, which positions you're allowed to stand on is a subposition related thing. And so it won't be consistent visually where you're allowed to stand before you're actually off the edge. So like maybe on this subpixel, I'll fall off like, I don't know, here. But so at low speed, there's like a pixel where you fall off the edge, right? And at like 1 pixel per second, you can actually find that pixel, right? But like once you start moving faster than that, you just fall off whenever your pixel value is bigger. So the other thing about the slash hover is that it's very hard to judge where you should actually start it from because you may actually fall off. Anyway, I prefer the other knife guy setup. I think the other knife guy setup is kind of the state of the art when it comes to this thing, although sometimes he just doesn't spawn. Once again, that's a thing related to knowing his X position where he spawns. I was a little bit too far to the right. You want to be like there. And then just barely get over there. Okay. Doing this setup list is not for the faint of heart, I guess. That's what I would say. It's not for the faint of heart at all. Because you can just die, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Alright. Okay, so once we're on this platform, I normally get the full ninpo. You don't actually need to get the full ninpo. There's no reason to get the full ninpo. The key thing here is that if you jump too late, if you jump too late, you'll wind up getting hit by the shuriken on the way down. And you won't necessarily die, but you might die and it's bad. If you jump too early, you won't actually wind up grabbing the wall. So you want to jump somewhere in the middle of this last platform, and then just like, once you hit the wall, just elevator up it as quickly as possible. And then normally I try to hit this guy at the top with a stab. Like right after the last jump. But again, if you press jump too early, even if you jumped in the middle, I'm dead. So just be careful, take it slow, and press jump at appropriate times. Right, we're going to jump across this gap and then slash that guy. You can get a slash boost off of slashing that guy. Let's see. Oops. you need to hold. And then we're going to jump slash the Shuriken in midair. If you don't jump slash the Shuriken won't get you. But, yeah. Because you can climb walls so quickly in this game, it's a little bit of a, you know. Oh, shoot, yeah. Missing that slash is not the end of the world. You just have to, like, whenever you miss a slash that's critical and there's like a guy blocking your way, you just have to hold in. If you don't hold in, you'll often just die, but okay. Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna save state here, and then right now I'm on a pixel setup. You can see that like the front pixel of my boot is like 1 pixel across the gap between these two ice blocks. On this setup, you can actually do this. So like everywhere, basically on this setup, you look, okay, yeah. On this setup, you look for his boot will like, oh shoot, this is not the setup. I need to be 1. Yeah, this is the right setup. I'm illustrating the point there that you actually do need this setup to make this work. You can't just do it like if I'm 1 pixel further over here, it will not work. You'll get the right frame, but you actually won't make the jump. So this is the right setup. His boot, your like your little toe of your boot is 1 pixel past the little gap. And then you can just do these jumps in a frame perfect way and get there. It's actually not even that hard to do it. But if you miss a single jump, you're toast. And obviously, getting all of them in a row is like, you can practice this for hours and get good at it probably, but if you don't want to do that, there's a better way. Or, it's not better, it's slower, but it is, you know, easier. And the easier way is just doing some slash hovers. So we're just gonna do a slash hover there, maybe like 2 slash hovers here. Once again, we're like jumping to the edge of the platform so that we actually get there with no momentum so that we don't die. And you have to be really careful about where the edge of the platform is. Normally I do 2 here because this is like a very tight jump. And then depending on how I feel, I'll do 1 or 2 here. That jump you don't need to. You can just jump that one. And then I get that clone because you need a clone in the Ashtar fight, and you know, maybe you don't have a clone. So once again, we're just gonna like jump to the edge, do a couple jumps to manipulate our hitbox, and like again, depending on where you are in your, you basically have to use your judgment. This is one of the hardest parts because you have to use your judgment. Like, see, in this thing, I'm like really close to the edge, so maybe I only need 1. But anyway, it's like, it's very easy to accidentally die using this method too. But once you develop good intuition for like what looks good, that looked good to me actually, so I don't know. But you can also take it a little bit more carefully and just do 2 every time, right? You don't have to be a hero in this part. It does not lose that much time. You lose maybe like, I don't know, 7-8 seconds or something. Alright, the Ashtar fight is a joke. So, you know, there's that. Basically, the Ashtar fight is... Again, you use a visual cue. I just run up to his claw. Oops. You want to run up like right to the edge of the claw and then just jump and then just spam slash for the entire fight, and usually you'll kill him. It's a little bit random because of his patterns are a little bit random, but most of the time you'll just kill him. Oh no, he hit me. There's really nothing more to say about Ashtar. It's kind of hilarious how bad Ashtar is compared to Ashtar in the NES version. Okay, Act 6. 6-1. jump over this guy. Normally I like jump and then lingering hitbox the gun guy. It's a little tight of a window. It's not too bad. Just you want to like hit him before he actually hits you, but you want to be far enough right that you actually hit him. I don't know why I'm messing this up. It's not really that hard. You just kind of like, choop. Okay. This part next is a little bit interesting. Oops. I normally walk up to this stalagmite and then slash the clone and then wait for a second there and then slash that guy. Here's what happens if you don't wait. I guess I should make a state that's a little bit further along so I can shoot. I keep slashing a little bit too early. Yeah, so jump on the stalagmite. If you don't wait, you'll get hit by this bird and fall right into the pit. You can also do something to kill the bird, but then it's like basically equivalent of waiting. Actually, probably even worse than waiting because like I wait for less than the length of a sword slash. So we're gonna just like choop, 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 choop. You can also jump over that gray guy, but it's really inconsistent and bad. So yeah. Don't try to jump over him basically. It can work, but you just shouldn't try to do it because it's not consistent. Or I don't know how to make it consistent. I guess it's if you land right on the left-hand tile, you should be fine. But if you don't land right on the left-hand tile, then he'll hit you, and then you'll fall into the pit and die. So. And if you press jump too early, you might die. So just like, basically a lot of these things are like, save common sense time. Maybe in the future, you might want to like, find a setup for this thing, but it's just not worth it right now. So just don't do it. You have to be holding down. If you're not holding down when you go into one of these pipes, you die. So don't die. Yeah, how do I... Oh, shoot. I should make a save state. Anyway, we can get more demonstrations of what this stage is supposed to look like.
You're good, dude. I'm pretty laid
back,
no. But yeah.
Shoot,
I guess it's some good advice from Zach.
Okay, we're good. One of my streams that I had open that was paused just opened up. So anyway. Yeah, that was actual NES Ninja Gaiden 2. Okay, so here's our save state for this stage. You can't make, like, there's no way that you can actually get up here. So you're just going to go there, and then there's two things you can do. One is you can jump earlier, and then the bat will spawn down here, or jump later, and then the bat will spawn up there. Either way, you basically have to either slash this bat or wait for the... Oh, you can! If you're on the very last frame, you'll get up there. Shoot. Yeah, anyway, if you're on the very last frame, I guess... But, like, it's just not worth it, right? Like, if you're on the very last frame, you can do it, but then if you're one frame too late, you just die. So, like, what's the point of saving that, like, not even half a second, right? There's a strat that I have done in the past here. So that's what happens if you don't wait for the bat. On this high thing, you just have to wait for a second. Here you want to jump on the last frame if possible so that you actually land there, because it's a little bit dangerous if you jump on the second to last frame here. Oh shoot, I need to wait for the bat. Condition yourself to wait for this bat. You don't have to wait very long. Anyway, if you're here, you have to do some weird things where you like time your jump with the serpent shot. But normally I actually do try to get last frame or second to last frame there. These are a bunch of ninja powers here. It can be a good idea to get this shuriken, and if you have two clones, there's like a neat setup for it where you like Oh, shoot. Yeah. There's a neat setup for it where you like jump off here and then you wait a little bit. Oh, shoot. I don't remember what it is. There's a cool thing you can do here to get the shuriken or faster. I don't remember if you have to like. I keep forgetting to wait for the bat and then dying to the bat. This bat is miserable. Anyway, this up here, if you have the fire wheel, is a scroll, but you don't need this scroll. So normally I don't get it because it's slow. I don't know. Sometimes I get it. It's you don't need it though. It can be useful for Jackio, but you don't need it. Okay. I hate this trick. You have to wait. You have to wait every time. If you get the high jump, you just have to wait. You jump slash that guy, we slash that guy. I should make a save state here so that I don't have to redo it every time. I want to demonstrate something about this trick. Alright. Okay. Here we're going to jump on the stalagmite, so we clear that guy. We're going to jump slash this guy, and then we're just going to hold in. Yeah. Okay. So let me explain what's going on here, maybe in a little bit more detail. We need to get across this gap here. But if you're standing on this side of the screen, you're actually far enough that the bat keeps spawning. You have to be 1 pixel further for the bat to stop spawning. So if you're here, you're fine. The bat will actually go past you and stop. And so one thing you can do, which is more consistent than what I do, or easier to pull off, I guess, than what I do, is just go here, wait for the bat, jump across. And maybe this is what I should be doing, because, you know, it really, like, doesn't lose that much time in the grand scheme of things. You have to worry about that bat, but you can slash him in midair. Like, this gap is not actually that wide. And that's a perfectly fine strat. If you have the Shuriken Ninja power, you can use it here and maybe sometimes you'll get past. But it's incredibly, like, I don't know, maybe it's like 70% of the time you get past, but you just don't want to rely on that kind of thing for this. So my like fast setup, you jump slash that guy, you just run directly into the fire thing, and then the only hard part of this really is getting this jump timing. Once you know how to get that jump, then it's easy. You just jump, put yourself kind of in the middle of the gap, and then press left to well, actually there's 2 hard parts. One is this jump slash. For some reason this jump slash keeps messing me up. And then the bat will just DBC you across the middle. Okay, for these things, there's really no way to deal with them besides standing slash, so, you know, we just standing slash them and learn to live with it. The jump timing is hard. The jump timing is hard. As you can see, I'm just holding right the entire time. So, it's a weird jump timing, but it's not that bad. Anyway, your clone will kill that gray bug guy behind you. Okay, for this part, I just jump where this like double stalactite is and then do a jump slash. You want to slash a little bit earlier than it seems like you should and just use the lingering hitbox to kill him. we jump slash that guy, slash other knife guy, and then get to the end. I found that sometimes you don't actually have to slash other knife guy. Sometimes other knife guy will just like jump over you and you can just walk under him. But I don't think it's consistent, so I just like to slash him. Other knife guy, I mean, sorry. Anyway, you know, it's gonna be consistent on this save state, I think. Like every time I do it this time, he will be obliging, but sometimes he doesn't. Who knows why? All right, 6-1. Let's do 6-1. Let's see if we can get this all done in one fell swoop. All right. In 6-1, you want to jump as if you're gonna slash that orb. Oops. So we want to kill other knife guy, because if we just try to go under him, bad things happen. We can go under him, but then he'll come back, and it's just a giant mess. So you want to jump slash other knife guy, jump over this guy, jump slash that guy, and get the full ninpo. You actually do want the full ninpo. This stage is kind of messy. Like, I admit that there's some things I could clean up about it, but the things that I want to do would just, like, not really save very much time, so... There's a clone there if you need it. We're gonna jump between these guys, and it's gonna look really sick. Jump over that guy. Input power those guys. Oops. We want to get the key thing here is we want to get the Shuriken. And then go under those guys. So let's see that again. We want to jump slash that guy. Jump over that guy. You slash a little early to delay, to like make your jump end sooner, I guess. That usually helps with that. Getting hit by that guy is annoying, but it happens. Anyway, you just run under those guys and then, yeah. It's an easy stage. Just don't take too much damage and you'll be fine. If you have 3 ticks of health in this fight, you'll be fine. The strat for this guy is, like, actually just stupidly easy. And actually, I think maybe you could, like, just do a straight. Nah. Okay. Trying to optimize this fight. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Basically, you just walk to the edge of the pillar, and just spam slash, and then as soon as you stop dealing damage with slash, just spam Shuriken. Using up the ninpo doesn't matter, so only one of these guys is a hitbox, and it's the left one. Like that, you can only damage that one, so. Yeah, it's an easy fight. And we're through. Skip the cutscene for Act 7. Alright, 7-1. This stage sucks. The first screen of this stage is horrible. So, you want to jump slash this guy, falling slash the bird. Then we're going to deboost off this guy, jump into the slime, deboost off that guy, and slash that guy. This is a very fast sequence of events, but it's pretty consistent. And if something doesn't go quite right, usually spamming jump will work. So here I use a visual cue. I guess there's a couple visual cues. The center of this circle here is where I jump to slash that guy. And then that little like diagonal rock thing that I'm standing on right now, that's the frame that I turn to the left to get deboosted by Rolly Guy. So we jump on the center, we falling slash that guy, we stand on this little crack and deboost, and then we jump up there. If you accidentally activate your input power or whatever, it's fine. Okay, we're gonna fall down there and deboost off of this guy to land on the wall. Okay. Here we're gonna jump a little bit early because we're gonna falling slash that guy. Ugh. This part is the worst, I have to say. This part is the worst part of this stage. there's a lot of things you can do, and essentially your main objective here is just to survive, because it's very hard to just survive. You don't care about going fast, really. Usually what I do, which is not what you have to do, I normally jump over this guy, and then I jump over his first thing, just hold in to get past his second thing, and then slash that guy, and then do a do a slash hover to get over to the next platform. The slash hover puts you on top of the next platform, so you can just jump over Rolly Guy, and that's very nice. Another thing you can do, which is maybe not advisable, but you can do it, is actually kill that guy with the thing and then just like run across. This is not the best iteration of that idea. There's really two main reasons why I don't do this. One is that it's hard actually to get this Ninja power. Like, it's in an orb way up here, so you'd have to like jump up and slash it or something. And then the other reason that I don't do it is that like running across this platform and jumping over here is actually really inconsistent. Like, you can actually make this jump, but it's like a 1-frame jump. And you can see that by the fact that I grab the ledge, I don't actually wind up on top of the platform. And so my reasoning is just like, once again, I don't actually care about how much, I don't care that much about how much time I spend in this section, because I'm going to save like at most like a second or something with that strat, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll save like 3 seconds or something. Anyway, this strat where I just, so here's what I'm doing here is I'm just like jumping over his first shuriken, hitting him, and then I'm trying to crouch stab the bird as quickly as possible. So I'm going to hit him, and then I'm going to crouch stab the bird, and then I'm free of threats. If you don't wind up getting the bird, my advice would be, well, okay. So there's a couple things you can do. One is you can try to crouch stab both of them at the same time. I've had a little bit of success doing this, but I haven't found it to be that consistent. If you don't wind up getting the bird, here's my advice. You really want to be on a very specific place to actually stab him. So let's say I didn't get the bird. My advice is just to go as quickly as possible and then just hold in when you get to that Rolly guy. Like, at that point, you've already messed up the strat. You don't care that much about getting hit by this guy, even though it's faster not to, of course. But it's too much to think about not to get hit by the bird than not to get hit by this guy. So, yeah. Anyway, that's that screen. On this screen, this is another one of those screens where if you press the wrong button, you will die. So don't do that. Sometimes you'll die, I don't know. Sometimes you won't die. Anyway, I normally slash that fire and then just jump up here. This screen is just really very simple. And yeah, it's very simple. Okay. This screen. Oops. This is another screen where if you press the wrong button at the wrong time, you'll die. So just be careful. Normally I do a jump slash there to get the orb, and then I'll let's see. This is another thing where, like, if you jump too high, you actually have to be careful to not overshoot. So just be aware of that. And then the way that I mitigate that is by pressing jump again in midair so that I actually fall and hit the platform. The best way to get this scroll is to do a jump slash, and what I mean by that is just like press slash almost immediately after pressing jump. If you press slash too late after pressing jump, you might not get it, or you might be in this awkward situation that I was in before, where you're not actually in front of the bird anymore. And so you can't do this like turnaround slash. Anyway, the bird is faster than you, so the bird is going to overtake you at some point. If you somehow mess this up, my advice is just to hold inwards. So like if you miss this jump or whatever and you're no longer in front of the bird, just walk onto here and hold in. And even if the bird is there and touches you, you won't die. You'll just land on the platform, you'll take some damage, but you'll be fine. Anyway, what you want to do is just immediately turn around and stab the bird. We're going to kill both of those guys, wait for the fire to dissipate. And then this part is a little bit ad hoc because it's hard to do the timing, but you just want to, like... Yeah, you really want to kill this bird because it's going to mess everything up. So that's why I do this turnaround slash with the bird. All right, and here's an example of what happens if I miss... If I mess something up in this earlier part, then my way of compensating with that is just to hold in and not care. You can actually slash... Oh, God. Yeah, be careful with this stage, please. Boulder guys' boulders, you can slash to dissipate them, but I think it's faster to just go up there and then not care. Alright. There's a lot of different things that can happen here. So one thing that can happen is you wind up on top of this thing, you just hold left, and then you do like a down and left to get off of there. Another thing that can happen is like you can get hit earlier and then wind up in like a weird position here where you let's see if I can get it to happen this time, where you just like don't actually wind up grabbing the wall at all. And that should also be fine. I mean, if you don't want to hold left, you can also do this, but it's a little bit dangerous, so normally I just hold left and then do a down left. This is a health orb, and importantly, the right position to slash this health orb is also a visual cue for getting through this thing's fire, so you wanna do that for sure. Okay. And then we're gonna jump slash the other snake. This is actually kind of scary, because if you get hit here, you can easily die. I don't know how to demonstrate it. Yeah, that's... I guess you can land over here sometimes, but that's the death that has happened to me most in the past. So you want to do this kind of like low profile jump where you go, like you can time it with the thing, but you want to go like underneath to hit him. Land on this platform. Okay. Here's another P-speed moment where it has happened to me in the past. I guess I'm in a good subposition right now. It has happened to me in the past that like just jumping from this pixel doesn't actually make it up there. Like if that pixel isn't available, I don't know. Anyway, normally I try to get a running start here. Alright, this screen is a nightmare. If you die on this screen, it's a complete disaster. Because if you die on this screen, it spawns you up here, and there's like really very little you can actually do. Remember, whenever you get hit by something, it like puts you off of the wall that you're on. So like, I don't really have a consistent strat if I die on the screen. This is another screen where, actually I don't think this screen will kill you. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what the right thing to do is if you die on the screen, but it's not good. This dying on the screen is just really bad. You have to like figure out these things respawn really fast, so like maybe the right thing to do is like that or something, and then like go up here. try to get the kill. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe here's like maybe the what you should do is just like wait for these guys. No. I mean, what you should do is not die on the screen, basically. It's so miserable. You can't just like clip through the wall here, unfortunately, which is like what you would do in Ninja Gaiden 2, but oh, this is what you should be doing on the screen. Okay. So I guess if you die on the screen, what you should do is this. Just stay up here, get hit twice, jump down here, and then go up here. Okay. Coming up with strats on the fly. This is the death screen for this thing. Is just stay up here, get hit twice. Ooh, that's bad. But it still worked out. All right, and you want to land on the left side of this platform so you don't get hit by that fire. Okay. Here's the actual strat for the screen. It's very, very fast. The main thing is it's not really that hard, but it's just very fast, and if you mess up, it's very easy to die. So basically you hold up for a little bit, you do a little jump, and then you go up. Normally what I do is I actually get rid of that jump because the jump just makes things way too fast for me to actually do it consistently. And so I just do... There's a couple of variations where you just climb up. One, you can do that slash thing, but it exposes you to the fire, so you can just deboost onto the wall. You don't want to hold right, you just want to press up and then press right. If you hold right, this is what happens. Well, I guess, what? I guess holding right does work. Okay. Anyway, as soon as you get deboosted onto the wall, you want to make sure to be at the very top here so that you actually get where you're going, and then hold right the entire time until you're on the wall. That's how you do that consistently. So you just hold right until you're actually on the wall. But then it makes this kind of like hard timing window where you have to be like at the very top, and then you have to hold right, and then you have to get on the wall, and then you have to go up. So another thing you can do is, which is, oops, also, why am I getting... Yeah. This is what I prefer to do, is just land on the right edge of this little platform with a little jump slash. And that's faster and more consistent than the deboost method, I think. It's a little harder because you actually have to land on the right pixel. If you go too far, then you'll get hit by the other fire like that. But you'll still survive most of the time, even if you do get hit. So, not in that instance, but... Anyway, this screen is very fast. And if you mess it up, bad things happen. So just... I guess my advice is just take it easy, right? Just take it a little bit more slowly than you would otherwise take a screen. Like, I don't go for this weird jump because, like, there's just way too many things that can go wrong. Instead, I just crawl up there and then do this. Okay, this screen is stupid. We don't need anything on the screen, so we just go. I guess, is there anything useful on the screen? I've never even looked at any of these orbs. I guess I looked in my first playthrough and I decided, like, none of them are useful at all. That's nothing. That's a life. Yeah, okay. None of these orbs matter. Oops. If you mess it up, you can go for it again. So we just jump up here. And then there's a fire guy at the end that we damage boost off of. Right, we skip that cutscene. Now we're on to the last part of the game. This stage is actually really easy. There's just a couple of things that are... It's really easy, but the stakes are very high, I guess is what I'll say. This is one of those neat things where you can get like the pixel perfect jump that actually goes up to the top. There's a couple of those in this game. This part at the beginning is pretty difficult. You want to get this pixel perfect jump, and then you want to get another frame perfect jump there. If you already have two clones, like if you didn't die the entire time like I did in this tutorial, then good on you. You don't have to get that middle orb that I've been getting. But to actually get the full ninpo, you have to be on the last frame. Alright. The Shrieking Gods cannot be kind to you, and like lots of different things can happen here. See, they weren't kind. The Shriekins in this game, just, it's not worth trying to understand them. Ideally, you can actually keep the Shriekin power till later, because that's the power that we want, but doesn't matter too much. Normally, if you have Shriekin, I would use it here to clear this guy, because it clears his projectile, and then also you have Shriekins for later. Unfortunately, that normally means that you wind up picking up Invincible Fire Wheel there, which is like not really very good power, but... Okay, that's another way that you can die that I forgot about. I've been trying to mention like most of the ways that you can die in this game that are like something that happens to me a lot. So there I didn't get the last frame, and I didn't get the power. Anyway. You don't have to be particularly careful with your health total here, but I'll amend that later with like a asterisk. So one of the ways you can die is, this is kind of the same thing that's going on in 4.2, where if you're not far enough to the right, or if you're too far to the left, you'll like miss that jump. Basically, you won't grab the ledge. So this is another part where you just want to take it a little bit slower than you would otherwise normally take it. I'm going to jump over the upfire there because I don't want upfire. I want Shrieking. And then, we don't need to use ninja powers in the rest of the stage, so it's kind of like preserving the Shrieking through the fire wheel doesn't matter really, but again, that's going to be something that gets amended. So this screen is very simple. You're just going to spam jump, and then basically the more you spam jump, the more likely you are to actually wind up getting a good, like, you want to land on this platform as early as possible. And so you want to press jump in midair to land on it faster, basically. All right, in this screen, we're going to go below this guy, below that guy. Oops. All right, let's just start it here. This is another platform that you can like accidentally jump over if you're a little bit too zealous with your movement. So just be a little careful of that. Anyway, we're going to go under crescent guy, under knife guy. This is another thing where there's two jumps. There's one that's like on the last pixel where you actually like get up there. There's like, I don't know, maybe like 10 places in the run where, maybe more than that. There's a ton of places where there's like a pixel perfect jump that you save like 1 second on. Or something. I guess it saves actually like not an insignificant amount of time to do this frame perfect thing, but it's just not worth it to go for it, so I don't go for it. All right, so there I'm just doing this. I mean, this is basically the same thing you do in NES here, where you, oops, you don't want to jump too early. You want to go like all the way all the way underneath the other knife guy. To the point where you're touching that thing. Okay, I'm gonna jump over this. This is something that can happen to you where you wind up on the wall. Don't worry about if you wind up on the wall by accident. My advice for on the wall is this. If you're on the wall, just go down there by crawling down there and then hold in. And you'll get hit by the shuriken, but you won't die. And then you'll be able to slash both of them like that. And it'll be marginally slower, but it doesn't really matter, so. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so we're gonna go under both of these guys again. Not go for the frame perfect jump, fall through there, slash both of those guys. And now we're, I guess, let me despawn this guy so that we have kind of a clean save state. Normally what I do here is just this delayed strat where you delayed slash strat where you walk off the edge and then there's a lot of things that are possible here in terms of like what you can do. They're all, as far as I know, pretty much the same amount of time. Like you can do this jump over, but then you kind of want to get the health. So I don't know. Getting the health here is a little bit of a safety strat that you don't really need, but if you slash late, you can lingering hitbox the health, basically. And then we jump here, and then... Yeah, this is another place where there's lots of different diverging ideas about what should happen, but... Shoot. Alright. Normally the one that I do is this, where I just like jump off here, slash the bird. Oops. Jump off here, slash the bird, slash... It's really hard to get this thing where you like jump off here, slash the bird, and then slash both of them. That's a pretty challenging strat. Another thing you can go for is just like don't slash and then fall down here. You can also do the double slash. I don't know. There's like tons of different things you can do. You can even go bottom route where you actually like don't even jump up here. You just ignore crescent guy and then you get the double slash. I think there's probably a way to use knife guy to like deboost onto the top level somehow, but I don't know how to do it. So, and again, all of these things are things that save minor amounts of time. Anyway, if you're on this bottom thing, I find it helpful to just grab this edge because it fixes your position and then you just go up there like that. There's a way to like get up here, and that's also you know, an acceptable way to play this part of the game. Unlike an NES, it's like really not very dangerous because you can just hold. If you're gonna get damaged, just hold towards the platform that you're trying to stand on, and it's more likely that you won't fall off. That backwards thing is definitely slower though. I think it's faster and safer to do this, so maybe I'll start doing that in runs. Anyway, this room is trivial. You just jump over here, jump, 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 jump. Okay, we're through. This is the horror screen. On both sides of the screen, if you press the wrong button, you die. It's horrible. Do not under any circumstances press the wrong button there. Because there's something I haven't told you about this level. If you die in this level, orbs only spawn on the first screen of the level. So that means you won't get the health in this screen, you won't get the health in the previous screen, you won't get any health or clones for the rest of the level. So if you die here, not only do you lose the amount of time that you took getting here, but you will also have to play really carefully for the entire level and make sure to get both clones in the first screen because you won't, like, basically you have to fight the entire boss at half health. Anyway, so just remember to like, it's worth the like extra 0.1 second to hold up for a little bit longer, and not to just like try to go as quickly as possible. Okay. We're deboosting off of fire guy, we're slashing that guy, we're deboosting off of this guy. There are 2 clone strats or like 1 clone strats for this part of the level. This orb right here is a this orb right here is a clone if you need it. So like if you actually don't have confidence in your like half health boss kill, you can kill yourself here, and when you kill yourself, the orbs spawn and you can get the thing and you'll get health. But in general, this is how I like to do it. Just deboost there, deboost here. That deboost is not pixel perfect. There's like two pixels that you can deboost off of, so it's pretty easy. You don't have to worry too much about this jump, even though it looks scary. Then you just cling to the wall and wait for the bird, and then get this thing, and then get the shuriken, and then you're through. So once again, jump, deboost off of fire guy, kill crescent guy. Crescent guy only has 1 health in this game, by the way. And then remember to just wait on that ledge for just a little bit for the bird to go by. Yeah. There's not really a good way to kill that guy, so deboosting off of him is basically the best we can do. Okay. We're into the final sequence. The final sequence in this game is not hard. It's not that hard. You probably will not die in this sequence. Oh gosh, Jackie 01 is so bad if you mess up. Even if you don't mess up, Jackie 01 can be a giant pain. Okay. So you want to skip the cutscene as soon as you can, which is like after its full brightness. You want to jump up here and then go up until your clone is standing on the platform, and then just spam the shuriken. And you want to leave yourself with like 1 shuriken if you can, so that if he's in a weird position, you can still hit him like that. This kill is not consistent because the fight is not consistent. Jackio can decide to go to any corner of the screen, he can teleport around, he can do all kinds of horrible things. But he usually starts the fight in the top right corner, or the top left corner, top right corner, and then just goes from top left to bottom right. And if he does that, this kill is generally pretty effective. We don't need Ninpo for the rest of the fight, so don't worry about using all your Ninpo here. You're not going to need it for anything coming up. He can also decide to do this, in which case you should probably just like jump out of the way and then try to hit him a bunch over here or something. I don't know. Like, this fight is very dependent on things. Oh my god, he's giving me such a bad pattern. The main thing that you want to do once once you're out of shuriken, this is kind of the strat where you just like sit here in the middle with your clones in a good position and get hits in him occasionally. I guess my clones are not actually in the right position. You can set up like a little tower of clones here where you're like all in the right orientation so you get hits on the boss, and then also you don't get hit by the fire. It's tough to do, but it's not too bad. Anyway, the main source of your damage is going to be this beginning of the fight, and the key thing is just not to use up your Ninpo to, like there I was like I used it up way too quickly and didn't actually get bonus damage out of it. Jackie's hitbox is a weird, like it's weird in NES, it's very weird in this game. It's kind of like on the... I think of it as like a little bit to the right of the pentagram in his chest, but Yeah, I don't know exactly where it is. So I jump up here. This is about the right rate at which to use the shurikens, and then you don't need to worry about taking damage either. So just kind of like be pretty aggressive, and you can get the kill pretty quickly. Another thing that I like to do is because the shurikens kind of like boomerang back to you and disappear unless you move, is like jumping off the wall actually keeps some shurikens around, and you can get stray hits like, you know, with the shurikens for a while. And then this is pretty effective. I'm like in this position where my clone can hit him, and then also I can hit him on the way down. I don't know. There's just like lots of things can happen in this fight, and you're going to need to practice it a fair amount. But this setup where you go on the left wall and deal a bunch of damage to him initially generally helps. I normally do down to 10, and then I just stop with the setup. And again, I'm being pretty aggressive. I'm just like jumping into him. Be careful of this is another thing that's similar to the 2-2 boss. Be careful of this corner over here. Because if you're in this corner over here, you can get killed by fire accidentally. You can get killed by the boss accidentally. Like, the way it happens is you like slash the boss and then like accidentally fall through a little crack in the ground. And if you die to the boss, you're basically just screwed. Because again, the orbs stop spawning and you just like can't do anything. So it's not hard not to die to the boss, but it's certainly not you know. Come on, get up there. See, this is like not dealing damage to him somehow. Yeah. I don't know why this is taking forever. His hitbox is in such a weird spot that it's like impossible to tell. Why didn't none of that hit? Come on, dude. Anyway, even this health should be fine to actually finish the boss. Maybe this is a little bit scary now. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. This fight is not free, but like I don't know why I don't deal damage to him. I still don't understand the full range of things that Jackia does. This is the kind of like Tower of Clones thing that I was talking about, where you get hits in. And my clone is a little bit higher than it should be, but anyway. There's a couple of things that are effective on him, but you just have to roll with the punches. You shouldn't lose like an insane amount of time on this fight if it all goes according to your plan, and you should not die. I don't know what happened to me earlier. Anyway, that's like a reasonably good fight. Whatever, I'll take it. I don't have a lot of advice beyond the like initial setup, and then like you just have to follow whatever he does. Okay, this fight is really simple. You don't want to get hit like that. but it's hard not to get hit like that, so I don't know. Anyway. You're going to jump right into his face and then just set up your clones like this and then just spam slash. And you might get hit a couple times, but your clones will still stay in slash range and you'll be good. There is a setup that you can do that's like maybe like this or something. I don't remember how it goes. Anyway, there's a way that you can position your clones such that they'll actually slash all the fire that he shoots at you and you won't have to deal with it at all, but like I said, your sword hitbox in this game is gigantic compared to NES. So just you take advantage of that. You don't want to run into the head. You just want to like you want to stop short of the head. You want to slash the first fire that comes out. And then you just want to sit here slashing. And then you might take one drip of damage from the acid. You might accidentally not hit the fire, but it's very easy once you practice it. All right. This pause kill is very specific and also very easy. So we're going to walk forward one step and we're going to crouch. We're going to wait for that to go away. We're going to jump into the head and then jump over here. And then just slash. I guess an important part of this thing. There's two important things. One is you don't want to walk too far forward. You can walk 2 steps, I think, but that fire will get you. And then you don't want to walk all the way to the left. He doesn't throw his second cloud all the way to the left. And then if you walk all the way to the left, your clone will be in the wrong spot. So, keep that in mind. So for this thing, I mean, maybe I'll walk forward 2 steps. Anyway, I'm just going to jump in front of his face and then just like go over here and slash him. There's a faster kill, but this is like basically as fast as possible. And then we're just going to like run over here and crouch underneath his thing. Okay, for phase 2 is also really simple. We're going to run over here, turn left, and then jump. And then just spam slash. It's literally that easy. You don't even have to turn left. You can also just like... maybe you do have to turn left. Oh, you don't have to turn left. There, I'm doing something where if you crouch, your clones will move closer to you. So if my clone is in an unfavorable position because of this, I can just crouch and then put him in position like that. And as long as I'm here, I can't be hit by it. So you just have to be careful about getting hit on the way in, and then turn left, and then just spam slash. And yeah, this is just consistent. There's another setup that's like maybe slightly faster to do, where you do this. But as you can see, it doesn't catch every single possible fire thing that comes out of him. And it's not all that consistent. And the fires can kind of like go through the gaps in your slashes too. So like, do you want to die to the final boss, or do you want to spend like an extra 1 second walking to the left? You tell me. Anyway, time is when the screen goes black. So this is time. And then, yeah, that's the run. Anyway, this is the gigantic Ninja Gaiden 2 DOS tutorial video. I think I got in most of the strats and most of the different things you can do in the run. There's obviously lots of like domain knowledge in terms of like, oh, if you don't hit one of these strats, what's the backup? And that's something that, I tried to include some amount of backups in this one, but there's obviously a lot of things that can go wrong in this game, and you're just going to have to learn how to do those things by practicing and seeing what happens. But yeah, this video includes all of the strats that I know at the moment. So yeah. This basically, if you do these things, you can get the fastest time. It's just as easy as don't die. So anyway, that's the end of the video. And yeah, I hope you have fun playing this game because, well, I shouldn't say it's a fun game. It's not a fun game, but like it's a fun speed run. It's a good meme game. Anyway, bye.